from the
Same place as trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Day. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Welcome back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, examine, and analyze words, sayings, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, we are smoking on social integration. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God, Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Happy Father's Day, God, and peace to you. How are you feeling on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday?
Yeah, I appreciate that, guy. Yeah, actually, I'm feeling pretty good and appreciated on this Father's Day, actually, right? Like the family actually did their ones and twos and made the God feel love, right? So I got to do whatever the hell I wanted to do today and everything I needed to do. And it was easy, right? So this was like a good end, or I guess start to the rest of the week, right? Like it's positive, right? A lot of love. So I feel pretty good. How about you, guy? What you got going on?
A lot of love as well. Salute to all the fathers out there. You know, I'm somewhere right now where the drinks got bubbles, and the water is about the color of my brim. And you know, we just enjoying the summertime, and you know, and being thankful for the day, thankful for another day, because we can, because we can. You know, you gotta support your interests and live like the gods say. And man, we got a fantastic show for everyone this evening, smoking on social integration. And before we jump into that, y'all, please make sure to smash that like button, share the content, and also subscribe to the channel so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Also, head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by that brother, that father, that man right there, Ali Dawood L at BK Soul Farm. Link is in the description. And also, y'all, subscribe to DB Chef TV to win $100 cash. All right, we do this every single month on the third Sunday of the month, right here on Cigar Sundays Live. But what you got to do in order to get your name in the hat, you got to subscribe. So please subscribe, DB Chef TV. You could be the lucky winner. We want to show some support to you for supporting us. That's how we give back. And on that same note, we're going to go ahead and jump into this month's winner. So for the DB Chef TV contest winner for June, for the month of June 2026, shout out to Minister Raywood Mickles Jr. You are the winner. We want to thank you for supporting us. I know that he is a father. I know he got a little tribe too. So, you know, we thank you. He's been with us since 2024. So we thank you, and we wanted to give today, especially to a father, you know. So that's what we did. And we're gonna be contacting you, Ray, on through various channels, so you can send us your information so we can get you paid. And thanks to Cole Season, who is the co-host of Brunch with the Fellas, another podcast that we have here on trending topics. that we do each and every Friday night at 9 p.m. live is $200. So it's going to be $200 this time. And once again, we thank you, Ray Wood, Minister Ray Wood Mickles Jr., and just a round of applause for supporting us. Thank you. So let's get into tonight's show, y'all. So, like we said, we are smoking on social integration. And we have 5 questions around tonight's phrase. And our first question is, what do you think of when you hear social integration? 2, can a community or society be diverse without being socially integrated? 3, comparing pre-segregation with present day, has social integration made things better for Black people in America? If yes or no, explain. 4th, does social media encourage social integration or social separation? Why or why not? And our 5th and final, last but never least question, is the phrase social integration bad, good, or misunderstood? And you know what you got to do. You got to stick around to the end of the show for the Cigarden Panel to let y'all know what we think, whether it's bad, good, or misunderstood. So since we have a lot to cover, because this is a brand new thing, we're going to go ahead and get into our first question. And then we're going to go and try to find out what is this thing called social integration. So without further ado, question number 1, what do you think of when you hear the phrase social integration? Let us know what you think in the chat or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. The God Ali Dawoodale at BK Soul Farm.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
Right off the bat, I kind of feel like I think of giving a baby a cell phone.
Giving a baby a cell phone, okay.
Right, like on a tablet. Not necessarily as a babysitter, but as this is the world, and this is what you need to survive and thrive in this world. So unless you get on this, unless you master this and these, you won't be able to keep up with the algorithm, right? Or your or your, what they call it, your For You page might be not popping, as they say. Like that's what I think of initially, giving a baby a cell phone or a tablet, because they learn so fast, and almost instantly, as soon as you show them where YouTube or a game is, they know that that thing is there and it's possible, and from then on, they can always find whatever it is they're looking for, even if they can't read, right? Like, it's so weird. It's so strange. They can't read, but they know how to work that. But then looking at the rest of the questions, it had me thinking about other things, about our integration, right? And then I was like, it's kind of like the same thing, right? Like, you gotta, here's this new world that we are in right now, and in order for you to navigate and master it, you have to utilize the tools that are available to you today and right now, right? You can't keep thinking about the old stuff, because that old stuff, while it may still be useful, valuable, and it may still work, it might not be able to get the update, right? So it'll be vulnerable for attack and things like that, right? So, like, think about malware. Like, it'd be easy for a hater to come in and dismiss, break up your family coalition. It's something you're trying to do, because what y'all trying to do is anti the norm, because y'all trying to do some old school plantation village style stuff, when right now we're in 2026 and everything is online, everybody's live and streaming, and everybody got their phone out, and it's like that. And so it's just weird, right? Like, it's, I think about, the way our ancestors, were, doing segregation, and the community that we read about and that we hear about through stories, at least from what my grandmother, tell me, and what my great grandmother told me. Like, I heard a lot of community and village in those stories, even though there was a lot of trauma and drama, right? There was still an attempt for a sustainment, for resilience, right? But then you fast forward and it's like, all right, now we shall overcome. And we're all in this brand new thing without repair.
Yeah, say that though. Yeah, don't jump ahead to the question. We just want to know what you think about it. Just hearing it.
This is what I think about it. Like I've never thought about it. Like I saw this for the first time today, thinking about it really.
Yeah, but I don't want the questions to trigger your thoughts though. You know?
They 100% did. I apologize.
Yeah, I know. I know. We tend to do that though. We do that when we don't know about something, and then we see the questions, and then we start trying to answer the first question with the other question.
Yeah. My first answer: the baby giving the baby the cell phone or a tablet,
right?
Getting them introduced to the world and the current tools and resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had to research the show. In the production phase, so it's like you're gonna give them too much, and then when we get to the answer, then you're just gonna be like, yeah, kind of like what I was saying before.
I ain't do none of that research.
It's okay though. But definitely, y'all let us know what y'all think right now. We are answering our first question. What do you think of when you hear the phrase social integration? And man, like I'm digging that giving the baby a tablet correlation, especially into social media, into devices and the new interactive world of the social stuff. But first and foremost, I think of like when I went to the military, like that was a social integration. I was not used to that environment, and then I got put in that environment, and then had to learn how to properly socialize, to integrate in there, to be in there. It's a difference. I've seen a lot of people come in. Well, I used to like to call it, and I still do like to call it, like an assimilation period, because you go from no discipline to rules that must be followed, whether you like, in order to be there. So if you're going to stay, then you're going to adopt the rules. If if it's going to be permanent for a career, then you're going to have to subscribe. If not, now there is a way that you don't have to drink as much as the Kool-Aid, but that is going to determine how far you go, or your ability to, what do we call it? What's that thing we call, like wearing the mask?
Damn, it's just on my tip of my tongue. Code switching.
Code switch, right? To depend on your ability to code switch. That will allow you, that will help with your social integration. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I don't know. We got a lot of different stuff that we're gonna go check out. But that's what I think of when I hear it, is just like, okay, going to a new school. When I was younger, I didn't have the privilege of like going to the same elementary school for my whole elementary years. I didn't have the privilege of going to my same junior high school for all my junior high school years. I didn't have the privilege of going to my same high school for all my high school years, So I went to like 3 different elementary schools. I went to like two or 3 different junior high schools. I went to, I want to say 4 different high schools, you know. So there was always the new guy, you know, like I always had that that new guy anxiety, being put into those environments. And I'm only able to diagnose it now, you know. Then it was just, you know, I gotta go to school. Yeah, mom says you got this. Where you going? This where you going to school at? You know, so that's where I look at, like when I hear the word social integration, I think of like where are places that I socially integrate? You know, like going to those different schools, going into the military, and that's really it. It's surface, because I don't know the layers of the depth of what the integration is supposed to, what are the results that I'm supposed to have from it? You know, what am I supposed to gain? What am I supposed to experience? You know, are there any standards that I'm supposed to know to adhere to, or is it all a learning experience? Is it just you get into it and you adapt and you make it what it is, you pick up and you learn those things? Because that's usually the normal, how things normally work. It's like you go in and it's either sink or swim. You hop in the water and it's sink or swim, you know. So that's what I think of it. My own personal experiences, just like, you know, from going to different schools in my youth, and then like joining the military. I can't really think of any other things, because I always been good. Always been good in the hood. Like that's always been easy. When I look at a social integration, well, one thing I would say, like, so when I was talking about moving around, all right, and going to different schools, so all of those schools weren't in the same states. So in those states, one of the things that was like, you have to learn the language, because people got different slang.
That's true.
You know, so socially, I would say on that social level of being able to communicate effectively, or just understand, like, even if your life is in danger, or you know, or somebody trying to play with you, or you know, then you kind of need to learn what's what. You kind of need to, you know, because I know, like when I moved to Atlanta, when I moved to the A, I know people was calling me a lame so much, I ain't know what it meant until, you know, somebody told me, like, you know, this girl I used to date, her cousin was just like, man, don't let them talk to you like that. You know, don't let them try. He said, don't let them try you like that. And I was just like, I knew what trying you were, you know, but I'm just like, lame, dog, like,
yeah, busy guy.
yeah, like they ain't, like that don't really bother me, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, lame don't really bother me. You know, like that's a trigger word for y'all. You know, that ain't really a trigger word for me. Like, you know, lame ass or something like that. Like that didn't really bother me. I wasn't affected by that, you know, because I just figured, like, you know, what's your cool is what's your cool, you know, like I be on what I be on all the time anyway. So it's not really gonna change the scope of things. But that was like an example of a social interaction where it was just like learning the language of where you at. You know, I guess so you won't be victimized, or so you can and we would say so you can communicate effectively, you know. Yeah. You know. You know, because if somebody say you might need to get your lame ass on, then you know what I'm saying, then you might want to get on, you know.
They kind of told you.
Yeah, that kind of, you know, that kind of be like, okay, clearly this person is ready to take it to another level about their issue. So, you know, you gotta decide if that's if you want that smoke, or whether you know, it's just gonna continue on with your day. Like, I ain't really tripping. So y'all let us know what you think of when you hear the phrase social integration. Has anybody ever studied that or heard that or anything? And we're gonna go ahead and get into the definition of social integration. And it's two parts, y'all. So y'all gotta bear with us. We got a few things we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary and we're gonna look up social first. Okay. Then we're gonna go and we're going to look up integration. All right. Then we have a piece from the United Nations website, from UN.org, where they did a study on social integration. We also have a speech from a well-respected elder in the community, Dr. Claude Anderson. I don't know all of his accolades or all of his, but I did know he worked, he did government service. He is an author, has a book called Powernomics.
I want to say he was the treasurer.
And I'm not sure, God, if you pull it up, we give him his just dues. But because I was more interested in what he said on the idea of social integration and how it pertains to Black people, versus what he has done, because I'm looking at what he's doing now is what is significant, and what we need to be wrapping out, what I think we need to be wrapping our minds around, more so than what he has done.
That's true.
And that's not to minimize it. That's just to say, he don't have no problem taking care of his bills. And he's speaking on what we can do, as a collective. And a lot of people don't talk about that, don't push that narrative enough about us having more unity, So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the definition of social integration. And we got a few places we're gonna go. So rock with us, y'all. Make sure to smash that like button. Let's go ahead and jump into this definition. So we got social, an adjective marked by or past in pleasant companionship with friends or associates. So that is social, marked by or past in pleasant companionship with friends or associates, sociable. Then we have of, relating to, or designed for sociably. Then two, we see of or relating to human society, the interaction of the individual and the group, or the welfare of human beings as members of society. Okay. Then we have here, let's see, 3, tending to form cooperative or interdependent relationships with others. Then we have 3B, living and breeding in more or less organized communities, especially for the purposes of cooperation and mutual benefit, not solitary. Solitary is by yourself. Most people remember, can correlate that most commonly to solitary confinement is where you hear that. All right. Then we have C, of a plant, tending to grow in groups or masses so as to form a pure stand. All right. Then we have 4A, of, relating to, or based on rank or status in a particular society. All right. So there may be like a chief, an elder, you know, a statesman. Then we have 4B, of or relating to the characteristics of the upper classes. Then we have formal. Okay. Then we have 5, being such in social situations. Then we have 6, involving allies or confederates. And then we get to it as a noun, an informal social event or gathering frequently involving a special activity or area of interest. 2, a social security number. 3, social media. 3B, a social media account. Okay. So that's where we get social when we get it as a noun, as the person, place, thing. All right. Then we'll head over through the thesaurus and see how they give it to us. They give it to us as outgoing, also as in colonial, and as in Tea Party. That's interesting. So as in Tea Party. So we have,
I get it now.
So social, as in outgoing, we see likely to seek or enjoy the company of others. So outgoing, friendly, convivial. Is that right?
Convivial, yeah.
Convivial, hospitable, social, lively,
Gregarious,
gregarious,
yeah,
gregarious, gracious, companionable, extroverted, spirited, cheerful, clubby, boon, animated, communicative, clubbable, gay, clubbable, gay, jolly, talkative, congenial, expansive, folksy, forthcoming, neighborly, amiable, cordial, bright, kindly, genial, jovial, agreeable, affable,
yep,
vivacious, exuberant, jaunty, buoyant, perky, peppy, effervescent, bubbly, upbeat, sprightly, garrulous,
yep,
chipper, pert, spriteful, and high-spirited. Then we see colonial, tending to group with others of the same kind. Colonial, associational,
yeah.
Parasitic, that is different. Dependent, social, gregarious, symbiotic, societinational, what, social.
That's the last part is messing with me. Consociational.
Yeah, consociational.
I've never heard that word before ever in my life. Consociational.
Mm-hmm. Subsocial, precocial,
yeah.
Precocial. Okay. Let's see. It's crazy pop up. All right. So then we have as in Tea Party. So they don't give you anything as in Tea Party. They just say tea party, tea, cocktail party, house party, supper, masquerade, hen party, reception, soiree, function, symposium, housewarming. So this just really sounds like something for people to an affair, another party,
another party.
Yeah. Meet and greet, a shindig, fundraiser, get together. We having a ball. All of these things, affairs. a kegger. Everybody loves a good kegger.
That's true.
Man, clam bake, all of this stuff, a baby shower, a wedding shower, you know,
Yeah.
meet me at the saloon so we can tie a couple on, you know. They even have orgy in here, prom, Bashanala, sat,
Bacchanal,
okay,
Saturnalia.
and we got a gala, an occasion, okay, and we're gonna do the do. There we go, right there, doing the do. It's a
Doing the
ball,
do.
it's a bash, the summer bash, summer bash. Okay, so that is social right there. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go right here to integration, and we're going to look at what integration gives us. And integration gives us the act or process or an instance of integrating, such as incorporation as equals to society or an organization of individuals of different groups, often used with into. All right, then we see B, coordination of mental processes into a normal, effective personality or with the environment. Then we see mathematics, the operation of finding a function whose differential is known. And we see the operation of solving a differential equation. All right. So when we see this, you know, the only thing that we kind of tie in this social integration to is maybe this incorporation as equals into society or an organization of individuals of different groups. And that's because those groups have been placed into race categories versus just being a human category. Because if we were just all humans, then it wouldn't be a black, a white, a this, a that, a Latino, a Asian, or this. It would just be like, we're all people. So because we have been broken into these different groups, you know, then this is where I'm seeing that we'll be leaning more towards with tonight's conversation. And then let's go over here to this thesaurus to see what we get. So we just get as an absorption. We get synonyms of integration as in absorption. And as in absorption, we get this a state or the act of combining or being combined into a cohesive whole. So we get absorption, blending, incorporation, merging, accumulation, aggregation, merger, synthesis, unification, blend, homogenization, intermingling, what is that word? Coalescence.
Yep.
Coalescence, mix, commingling, combination, mergence, mingling, mixture, coalition, linking, concretion, coupling, interfusion, intermix, intermingle, union, commixture, fusion, amalgamation, conglomeration, composite, amalgam, admixture, compound, intermixture, intermeld. Okay, so all of these things are just talking about mixing it all up in a pot.
Yeah.
Okay, trying to get a recipe. Anything in these definitions, God, that you wanted to address before we move on to our next piece of content to try to help us understand this a little bit more?
So yeah, the first thing, so it's interesting. So you gravitated towards the incorporation as equals into society, or organizations, or individuals, or different groups, right?
For the integration part, yes.
I think is more of the act or process or instance of integrating, right? I don't necessarily think that they see us or whoever they colonize or conquer as equals, as the same as they themselves, right? So it's all a process of how can we live around these people, what's comfortable for us, right? I think there's an illusion.
Okay.
I think there's an illusion of a, but I think is the reality is all really just all one.
Now that's fair. Like, okay, so see, so I agree with that as the outcome.
Yeah.
But where I defer a little bit is because I'm saying that this is the way it's sold,
I agree with that too.
you know.
I agree with that.
So it's sold as an incorporation as equals, but we are living in the outcome,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's why for this particular, that's why I said I'm going with that, because I didn't tie it to a social, you know. I didn't tie it to a social definition, but that helped me understand possibly where we're going with the integration aspect of it, because that's where it's being sold as. That's what it's being, you know. Even when you see people come from other countries and they saying, you know, you can have the American dream. Okay, well, what is that American dream being compared to? That's being compared to being something that is quote unquote equal to other people in society that have achieved that. So, you know, you're being sold that you can, you know, you can come and do this. You can be a part of this American dream. Um, you know, but then you have to also learn, you have to catch up. You have to learn the interest rates and the housing market and all that other good stuff. Taxes and, you know, affordable housing doesn't mean just making the payment. It means, can I afford to actually be there? Can I pay for it? Can I keep this? Can I maintain it? You know, if I can't afford the maintenance, then I can't afford it, you know? And that just goes on with so many things, you know, vehicles, you know, buying a really expensive sports car versus buying something that is you know, something that is fairly inexpensive to maintain, and still allows you to be able to reach your destinations comfortably and safely. So um looking back at the social definitions, we have marked or passed in pleasant companionship with friends and associates. And I was really leaning really towards uh the third definition, where they say tending to form cooperative or independent relationships with others. And that's why I think
Hmm.
that's why I think the phrase social integration
Mm-hmm.
is the center of focus. Tending to form cooperative or independent relationships with others, um, incorporating as equals into society or an organization of individuals with of different groups. That's why I think that it's going, and I get that because I'm coming up with that because of what the way Dr. Claude Anderson addresses it. And we're gonna watch that clip um in a second here before we get back to our questions. But what we want to do before we go there is we want to bring up we want to bring up this writing. It was an actual study done, and this is on UN at the United Nations on social integration. And what they say here is that this is prepared by M. Sharon Janot for experts at a group meeting. They had a meeting about it, and this was in 2008. So the link will be in the description. This is public information. It says social integration is one of a constellation of social, quote, terms that is being used widely in contemporary policy development to describe concepts whose aim, as stated by the Copenhagen Declaration and Program of Action, to foster societies that are stable, safe, just, and tolerant, and respect diversity, equality of opportunity, and participation of all people. Okay, so then it goes down. We're not going to read this whole thing, but it'll be there for you all to actually go back and read if you want. But then it says here, this short paper is intended to highlight some of the main conceptual, contextual, and policy issues surrounding the use of the term. It is likely to raise more questions than answers, but that may be appropriate as a point of departure for a series of brainstorming sessions focused on the problems of promoting social integration. Okay, and then right here, we're going to read this part too, because it's important that we know this, that we understand this. It says, while participants at these sessions were encouraged to conclude their papers with policy recommendations, the conclusions at the end of this paper should be considered in the same light as provisional and as points of departure for further discussion. Okay, so that doesn't seem like they're really looking for a solution. You know, to me, that really seems like they're just looking to figure out how can we do this, and you know, and keep it as something that you continue to try to find a problem for. You don't solve anything. Okay. So this is the social inclusion part, and they have this this box one where they have all of these different elements and dimensions that were spatial, relational, functional, and developmental, and then participation, empowerment, and agency. So they just broke it down into categories: public spaces, private spaces, physical location, social proximity, emotional connectedness, capabilities, developmental capacities, participation and agency freedoms, geographic, proximity, distance, economic, proximity and distance, recognition, solidarity, assets, liabilities, talents, potential, human capital, okay, empowerment and power. And then you go down here to this thing called Maslow's pyramid. In the lower four levels, the deficiency needs must be met, therefore, before the highest level can be achieved. Okay, so in the Laidlaw Foundation and Schuchner formulations, inclusion also depends on the satisfaction of these needs, although neither are as explicit as Maslow about matching orders of inclusion or well-being to specific needs. However, both conceptualizations do recognize, that social inclusion must be both multidimensional and transformative. In this regard, they are also in line with the conclusion of Canadian social cohesion researchers that policy interventions must be taken on several fronts and must have substantive and measurable outcomes. Okay. So just looking at this little pyramid that they got, using a pyramid, funny. They have these different things that till you reach the capstone of self-actualization. So you have psychological safety, love and belonging, esteem, and then there's self-actualization. So breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, erection is their psychological. Then safety, security of body, of employment, of resources, of morality, of the family, of health, of property. Then friendship, family, sexual intimacy. Then esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. And then self-actualization is morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. Okay. So then I wanted to go down here and show, we wanted to scroll down real quick. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. I wanted to show this model right here. Was it this model or was it? No, we didn't want to show that. Okay, so we wanted to go down here to this social capital, and what we wanted to see was at the end of the project. That's what we wanted to see at the end of the project. No, here we go. Social integration. I couldn't highlight this thing so I could get. Okay, so here we go. There has been relatively little research on the concept of social integration in Canada, but the definition utilized in the Copenhagen Declaration on Social Development bears some resemblance to the conceptualized described below. The processes of fostering societies that are stable, safe, and just are that based on promotion and protection of all human rights, as well as non-discrimination, tolerance, respect for diversity, equality of opportunity, solidarity, security, and participation of all people, including disadvantaged and vulnerable groups and persons. So I wanted us to see this because this is, you know, and the link will be there, and we're not going through this whole thing, you know, because we'll be here all night. But the language, what we wanted to do was we wanted to identify the language that they use in surrounding this thing, this term, because it is definitely something that is being created to be studied versus something that is versus like something that's just something that's natural, like it's being crafted, it's being designed.
Yeah.
You know, and these studies, you know, being able to see that there's a study, there's research, there's think tanks, there's groups of people, and for them to say, like, you know, these things, the last thing that we just read, like when we talked about earlier, when we talked about the integration, okay, and we said, okay, well, integration was incorporation as equals into society as an organization of individuals of different groups. Okay, but then we also just read right here where it was just saying the process of fostering societies that are stable, safe, just, based on promotion, protection of human rights, as well as non-discrimination, tolerance, respect for diversity, equality of opportunity, solidarity, security, and participation of all people, including disadvantaged and vulnerable groups and persons. Like, that ain't going down right now. You know,
which is why that's the B part. that's what they sell it,
and that's what I'm saying. Like they're selling that, but that's not the end product that we're seeing.
No.
You know, so So before we get into, y'all let us know what y'all think about those things. And like we said, all of the links will be in the description so you can read that full meeting, the notes from that meeting on this concept, or on this phrase idea of social integration. But before we get into our questions, we are going to get back to our questions. We're going to listen to a snippet from Dr. Claude Anderson.
Black people in America, you are not progressing. I've been telling you that now for 25 to 30 years, even when I was with the Carter administration going around the country. You're not going to progress. You're going backwards. You're going backwards. The only people, blacks in America, are progressing are those who are locked into a vein called entertainers. If you're an entertainer, what you're telling white folk is that you are safe as a birth control pill. There ain't nothing going to happen. You're not going to do anything for black folk. If you're running with a ball, joking, telling jokes, singing, dancing, that's safe. White folk, that doesn't frighten white folk. They'll give you a television show. They'll put you on 10 television shows. They'll make you a host of a television show. They'll let you broadcast every sport event. As long as you don't address any issues dealing with black folk and the problems that black folk have. And so when you all see all these blacks on television, read about them in the newspaper, those blacks have been classified as being 20 times safer than the birth control pill. There ain't nothing going to happen for black folk. And so this morning, I will let you know that you are not progressing. You're not progressing. And first and foremostly, social integration has failed. Get that through your head. Social integration has failed. As a matter of fact, you lost in social integration. You didn't gain anything. You lost everything you had. Any black person here in this auditorium today that's more than 50 years of age can tell you what you used to have. You have nothing now. You used to have theaters and bus companies, cab companies. You used to have almost everything that whites had, but now you have nothing. Why? Because see, social integration is a weakening process. It is not designed to empower you. Powernomics might be, but social integration is not. You cannot integrate anything you cannot empower anything by integrating it. You weaken it. And in social integration in this country, what social integration did was make you a guest. You became a guest in what other people own and control. And any of you know that once you're a guest has been with you for 2 or 3 days, you want to get rid of them. We are guests. You don't own any hotels. You don't own anything of value in the country. That's why everybody's been pushing social integration. That's why you no longer have communities. You used to have decent communities in every black city in America. I used to be able to go to any city and find a black neighborhood, not a neighborhood, those days were communities. You used to have some of the finest communities in America right here in LA. You had a Compton, you had a Inglewood, you had a Watts, you had a South Central, you had something. You got nothing now. And all my blacks who were so silly enough, they moved out of the city up into the mountains and said, I'm getting away from all OP. I'm going to go up in the mountain by myself. And you turn over the city to the people you're competing against. Social integration cannot enhance you. Now, anybody in social economics knows this. The Jews found this out way back a long time ago in the 1500s in Europe, when Jews tried to socially integrate. And Jews found out very quickly it is a weakening process. They became at risk.
Okay. So he's got some very valid points right there. And I know that we probably won't be getting we probably won't be hosting a sports event or getting any shows because right now we're talking about empowering some black folks. So yeah, so we might not get invited to the Black Excellence Expo, but it's okay. You know, I can watch it on TV and online, and then I can just talk about it afterwards and still give shots out, tell people how we feel about it. All good. So with that being said, we're gonna get back to our questions, y'all. We are smoking on social integration. And that was just some words from Dr. Claude Anderson. And y'all let us know what y'all think about that. How does that touch you? How does that, do you agree? Do you disagree? What? Let us know something. So Our second question: can a community or society be diverse without being socially integrated?
Yes. The reality is we're all different, right? You got a funny one, you got a handy one, you got a tall one, you got a short one, you got a fat one, you got a skinny one, you got one that can sing, you got one that can dance, you got one that can jump real far. Like, you got a whole bunch of diversity within our people, within humans, period. Right? So yeah, like, you get a whole bunch of diversity, right? You get a whole bunch of different thought processes and different ideas and different ways to do things, which is what the elder was talking about. As far as, we used to have communities and villages where ideas could be heard and had amongst everybody, and we can actually sit and agree and make a decision on what it is that we want for ourselves, right? And what it is that we want to represent us going forward, right? Without we didn't need different people from any place else bringing their ideas. Like, we had, like, just naturally, like if you have siblings, like, yeah, if y'all got the same mother and father, whether y'all do or y'all don't, if y'all grow up together, like, y'all different, like, y'all have enough diversity amongst the two of y'all to where y'all don't need a cousin necessarily, right? You don't need a friend. You don't need a new person. Like, you got your ride or die right there with you, or your sparring partner, whatever, right? So yeah, I think that's my answer to the question is, yeah, like, you don't need anybody else other than who you're already with. Like, y'all already diverse.
Okay. So right now, y'all, smash that like button. We asking, can a community or society be diverse without being socially integrated? The guy says yes, and I agree, but there's a caveat that I always say, because this question, not this same question, but I've seen this pop up in the military, and especially in the Coast Guard, because the Coast Guard was, when I went in, it was like 85% white male, and when I came out, it was like 85% white. Okay,
it's consistent.
So what I realized was that I would hear from in certain conversations, because I got to sit in a few rooms, I would hear conversations where people would talk about diversity, and they would use the same thing, like you said, like yes, it could be different, all it's people from different backgrounds. So you got tall people, you got short people, you got can nobody be fat, but right, yeah, can nobody be fat, right? Everybody gotta be fit. You're a uniform. But I think that only applies when race doesn't apply. And because we live in a construct of race, I agreed with it. I agree with it then when I heard a white guy say, well, I'm from Alabama.
We already diverse.
That white guy's from California, or that white guy's from New York. Like, they don't think the same.
Correct.
Like, at least they don't think they think the same.
Correct.
Okay. because everybody will have their own stereotypes that they give. He's a dumb hick. He's a tree hugger. He's a New Yorker, right? Or a obnoxious New Yorker. Okay.
Obnoxious.
Right. So, and I'm just repeating what I heard before, So when I look at that, that's like, okay, well, that's diversity. So then why is the diversity thing why is it limited to color? And that's because we've been put in this color block.
Oh yeah.
You know, on purpose. We have this colorable law. We have this, you black, I'm white, they Spanish, they this, they Asian, they this, they, you know, they have all of these different sections, these boxes that we have to check. So it's like when we have the conversation, we have to have it from that perspective versus trying to have it from the perspective that we would like to have it from, where it would be, where if everything were fair, then it would be, yes, Ali knows how to do this, Pearl might know how to do this. You put us in a environment, he has a specialty, I have a specialty, we're diverse. Because I may if I seek to embark on that, then I need your help, I need your wisdom, I need your knowledge, I need that expertise, because I don't know how to do it. But you could teach everybody how to do it. Then it may be something that I can do that I can teach everybody how to do. Then it's something else that somebody else brings that can teach everybody. And that is diversity within that group. But then when we start putting colors on it, it's like, okay, well, now, well, how many black do we need in the group? What is the minimum for us to meet the requirement that we have diversity inclusion, right? That we have integrated socially enough color for it to be what's considered to be a diverse environment. You know, it's not, even though it may be two people of two different ethnicities that are just as qualified to do the same job, but they remove the skill and the talent from the level of diversity to what you look like and how many people we need here to fulfill our diversity quota.
Yeah, this is America.
Know? So, you know, so that's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough one because I'm just like, can it? You know, can it really? Like, we know it could if it was more unity, if it was like, okay, all the black people over here and all the others over there, right? Then it's just like, okay, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Okay, now we learning what everybody do because we got to get to work. We got to get some building going. Okay, and I think that would be the same way over there too. Like if it was a whole nother ethnic group of people that's just focusing on them and trying to build their resources and their security and their safety, you know, and making sure that they can survive and that they can thrive as well. Like they would do that. Like it only makes sense to do that, you know, because you would have to do that if it was survival. You know, we watch those, well, I don't watch it, but I know people watch that Walking Dead stuff, you know, and it's like,
I can't handle that shit.
You know, like, it's like, okay, well, if you have to take over a place, a center, like the Obama Center, it's a perfect place. They got a garden, they got exercise, they got everything. It's like all the resources in one place. They got 360 panoramic view for security, you know what I'm saying? So like, but if you had to do that, then everybody there and their skill will be important, you know, to sustain and to survive, you know, and to weather. So would we care what diversity looks like in that situation? Would we, other than the point that you made of, well, what skills, what do you possess that you can, what value do you bring that can be teachable, that can be utilized, you know, and that we can thrive off of. But you know, when it comes to the question, I'm not really sure if the community can be diverse or it's, you know, without being socially integrated, based on what they talking about. And we know that this don't really exist though, based on the concept. Like, it doesn't really exist. There's no place, I don't know of any place that exists where it's safe and just, and a protection of human rights, as well as non-discrimination, tolerance, respect for diversity, equality of opportunity, solidarity, security, and participation for all people, including disadvantaged and vulnerable groups. I don't know where no place on earth exists like that. I don't, you know.
Been around the world, and
yeah, and I've been around the world, so like,
yeah.
I don't know where no place on the planet exists like that.
So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I was looking at that question, I know I might have used language like cousins and brothers and sisters, but I'm thinking about my neighborhood, right? My projects, my block, my area. We didn't need nobody from a whole nother area to tell us that we're having fun or how to have fun or how to live. Like it was enough different ideas for us to do our thing. Right? I wasn't even thinking about the color aspect of it per se.
I get that.
I'm just thinking about like as regular, like the problem with the social part, and why I think, you know, Dr. Claude Anderson said that it failed, is because even when you look at that paper, even they didn't want to say that what we conclude is the answer. They said, yo, we want to offer what we come up with to the universe, and hopefully somebody grab it and they say this is what social integration really is. And it sounds like everybody's scared to blame the originator of the problem, right? Because you can't get past first base, or you can't even make it to first base if you start off talking about the colonizer or the person that went around doing the bad thing to everybody. And the reason why you're putting color on everything is because of this like, you got to get past all that stuff, honestly, right? Like, you got to have real repair and be able to have open communication. And because that's not able to be happening, it's failing, right? And they're unable to really define it. Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think we had it though. I think we've had it. I think the discussion has been had, and they've responded. And they've responded with, we're not going to apologize, and you're not going to get reparations, because it was legal because we made the laws when we did it. So, you know, tough boob.
And what is that? And that's social integration, right? It's like, we did that, it was okay, and now you're here, so don't be mad. Don't be mad no more.
Yeah, so, you know, well, they're not saying don't be mad.
I mean,
you know, they're not saying don't be mad. I ain't even looking at it like, don't be mad. I'm disgusted. I'm not mad, because mad to stress me out and make me want to forget all the things that I value. But I'm disgusted with it and disappointed, because I know Nana V went to the back door.
Yeah.
You know, like my mother's alive.
Yeah.
And told me she went to the back door, you know? So like, I understand that it was real. Like, even if people doubt the slavery story and whatever else, like the Jim Crow and the redlining and the lynching and the sicking the dogs and the people getting hung, them pictures are real. That stuff was happening.
And a lot of that stuff is in our lifetime. And
You know,
right,
yeah,
right.
in our parents' lifetime, yeah, and grandparents, yeah. Like we ain't go through none of that. Born in the 70s, we ain't go through none of that. But understanding that it was just happening a couple years prior to our, you know, like it's not when you talk about like 64, 63, you know, like that's not 65 years. When you talk about civil rights and all of that stuff, just asking to be able to vote, like this stuff is not 100 years old.
When we got our first mayor, bro, first black mayor, David Dinkins, like it turned up. Like it felt like the 60s. Like it felt like it felt like the stories my grandmother was telling me was happening in real time. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's all perspective. That's why I say, like, I know they don't want to cut a check, but they got to recognize repairs needed.
Yeah, and there's a difference between it feeling like something. No, God, I always say that. You know,
That's true.
I ain't picking. You know what I'm saying? But I always say it's a difference between experiencing something and feeling like something. You know, because I always say almost don't never count for nothing because it never happened. You know, and when a real experience, you know, in my opinion, holds more value than just how somebody feeling, because they may not have all of the answers. They may not have all of the intimate details. Like it's a difference if I was there standing there and got dog sicked on me because I went to go peaceful protest, then hearing about my mom going to a protest where they was peaceful and they got dog sicked on. I know that it happened. I believe her story. You know, but it's a difference when it's just like when it happened to you, because you get that actual trauma. You know, like we done seen racist things happen all through America, like consistently. But when we talk about this social integration, it moves us to our third question. Like, y'all let us know what y'all think. Can a community or society be diverse without being socially integrated? And to our third question, comparing pre-segregation with present days, has social integration made things better for Black people in America? If yes or no, explain. And that's where I'm going with, where it's just like, when we look at the pre-segregation, like the thing that Dr. Claude Anderson was saying was like, prior to saying, can we do the stuff that y'all do? Well, people say voting for equal rights. Okay. Voting to be for desegregation because we were segregated. You look at the level of unity that Black people had, even if it was in suffering, even if it was everybody was like, woe is me. Everybody was like, we all got it bad. You know, to now with the social integration, quote unquote, desegregation, which I think we're more segregated now than ever. To Dr. Claude Anderson's point, it's a few people that, you know, some entertainers, some athletes, a few people that, and I don't just want to just put it all on them, but it's a few people that make a certain amount of money, they get to a certain level, and then they think like it don't apply to them, or their attitude is looking down on the others, you know, who may be having a difficult time dealing with their trauma from the systemic things that have happened, and they really can't get over the hump. It's a lack of information. There are some people who lazy. Like, it's so many factors that go into it. But I'm like, have we seen overall the conditions of Black people just improve in America culturally? And I would say, based on this concept of social integration, if that was real, if those things were happening, then it would be like, yes. It would be like, yeah. When you talk about non-discrimination, tolerance, respect for diversity, equality of opportunity, solidarity, security, those things right there, including disadvantaged and vulnerable groups and persons, protection of all human rights. Those particular things that they mentioned in the paper, if those was happening, then I'd be like, black people don't really have no reason to complain, because they probably done cut a check if something like that was happening. Of reparations have been granted, even if it wasn't in the money form. There's been some form of reparations to make sure that the principles and morals and ethics of America, bottom line, lines up with that for everybody that's here. So I'm not really seeing how, I'm looking at the pre-segregation and the unity that was there. And then I'm looking at how things is now. And it's like, man, I know how my friend list. I know the how I deal with people and how I have to be selective. And people who even look like me, how I befriend them. So I have to have some type of reservation with new people that I take on. Like, what you about? What you want? What type of time you want? But if everybody was on the same frequency, then you still would have to exercise some good judgment, some discernment, but it wouldn't have to feel so guarded all the time, because people be having agendas and stuff like that, and they be coming on BS, but smiling with it, acting like they mean you all the best, and they just waiting for their time to strike. So what you think about it, guys? What you think about it? Comparing pre-segregation with present day, has social integration made things better for Black people in America? Yes or no? Please explain.
Just going by the stories that I was given, pre-segregation, I think, was a better America for everybody, for all of America. I think when you look at all the Black Wall Streets before they was destroyed, set on fire, and flooded out, I think that they made the economy boom, right? I think that we have morals and dogmas and things that we live by, and it was just better. I think once we integrated socially with the greater society, so to speak, and now everybody's here and everybody's participating with each other, everybody else maintains their culture that they brought with them. But because our culture was fabricated on the plantation, that we want to keep forgetting about and pretending like, is more than that. And for here in America, and I get that, we come from the continent and we come from greatness and all that. But the truth is, the African American scenario was created here, right? And these people came together to make this place what it is and what it was. So from my perspective, things are way worse now, right? Even in this socially integrated society that they say we live in, I'm from a city, I'm from a borough that is highly segregated, right? They got different areas and different sections for everybody. And having been one of those people to have crossed from one culture to another culture to live, right? I understand that level of diversity is tough, even with people that look like us, right? Like there's a level of diversity that is just not considered. Just that's why I say, just because it's not just about skin color, it's somebody coming from someplace else is bringing different ideas, right? And it just mess up everything. So yeah, I'm pro pre-segregation family societies. I think that was way better for the country.
Well, we know we don't want to go back to slavery, right? But
I'm talking about the family.
I know. Yeah. I know we don't want to go back to slavery, right? But what do you think about going back to segregation?
I just told you, like, I'm from a city where like there is already still segregation. Like there's parts of the city where only.
But it's not in. It's okay. So it's surface level segregation. It's not like cooperative economic segregation. It's not like community work together. So, and what I mean by that
today, I mean, Chinatown is, I mean, unless it's different.
Okay, no, but not for Black people. Okay,
no, we never had that.
So when we did
not into integration. We never.
Right, but okay, but that's the point I'm making. That's why I'm asking the question because I agree that it's not better now. Okay, and specifically what I agree is the overall condition of all Black folks. Like it's better for me now than it was, I would say, for my mother. That's true. It's better than, or my dad, you know what I'm saying? It's better for me now.
That's true.
But not just saying me, not just thinking about myself, looking at overall conditions for all Black folks, all African Americans. Shout out to rest in peace, Jesse Jackson. He came up with that name, if y'all don't know. Okay, everybody calling themselves that. All right. But what I'm saying is like, okay, in New York, what you talking about? Yes, I rode through them places. I seen I was mesmerized because I didn't even know the level that the Jewish community had with their cooperative economics and their segregation. Okay, I did not know that, like, they had their own fire department, they had their own police force, they had their own all their stores and stuff like that in the community. You know, like they own all their stuff and everything, the buildings, everything. I didn't know that. But understanding that, it's like, okay, well, yeah, that might be them. We might say the Asian community, you know, in little in Chinatown, right? That might be them. We might say little Odessa. That might be them. Okay. But is Jamaica, Queens like that? No. You know, is wherever the Black area is in Brooklyn like that, is Flatbush like that? No, it's gentrified. You know, is East New York like that? No, it's gentrified. You know, like the large buildings that's going up, that's making the new places and stuff like that. That ain't Black people ain't owning them buildings. You know, that's not people from the community that had the cleaners, you know, like when they talk about like even I would say probably in the 80s, you know, with the what was that, the paid in full, like they had the Black man owned the cleaners, another guy had a pizza shop, you know, this, that, and stuff. They had little places. Like when we go through these places now, we don't own none of this stuff. So
that's how best I was when I was growing up.
So yeah, we lived there, right? But that even speaks to now what you're saying. It ain't the same no more, right? So because it's not the same no more, that means that it's not as good as it was then. Because then you could go and see somebody that looked like you owning something and be inspired in your community a few footsteps from you. Even though you might walk past the dope dealers, you still went into a store that was owned by somebody who looked like you, who can inspire you to do something, to keep walking past them, because you can aspire to be higher. They just the lazy ones. Okay. So looking at that, I'm saying, would it be better to go back to segregation versus this social integration thing, desegregation, because then we saw more Black unity. We also saw more Black economic cooperation between each other, where people had businesses, you know, all of those Black districts, Black business districts that got burnt down, you know, or defunded, or had smear campaigns, you know, Soul Cities, you name them, Rosewoods, Tulsa, whatever the case may be. All of those places that got destroyed, those were Black families in those areas. And they all had, you know, people who were doing farming, people were doing own the butcher shop, people own the tailor, people own the you know, we always own churches, we've been on that still. But you know, all the other the convenience stores and all of this and all of that and everything else that you needed to get and you need to have, it was somebody who did that, and it looked like you know, and there was a unity. And there was an inspiration, there was a motivation to be like, damn, I could do that. You know, I don't have to just do this. It was before the rappers got on the screen, you know. So, and then you still had musicians and stuff like that, but everybody wasn't trying to be a musician. You know, it was for the selected few that was talented, that was practicing, that you could hear them, you know, that you could hear them while you know, you might be coming in your building and you hear them in your, you know, they window up and they playing because they parents like, nah, you gonna play this. You're gonna play this because you're going to school off that. We're not paying for college. That's gonna get you in college right there, you know. So, but then you have friends, because I have friends that play instruments, and that made me want to play instrument, you know. So you had a community building off of, feeding off of each other, and now we don't have that. Now you just got neighborhoods where you live next door and you barely know who your neighbor is, you know, or you got your neighbors hating on you for some reason because you too happy. You don't look like you struggling enough. You know, like,
nah, for there you got a budget and you living within it.
That and that's it. Like, like it's no, you know, we did. I am the lottery that I picked. You know, my budget was the lottery. Nothing else, man. Nothing else.
But for me, to be honest with you, God, like, I don't think that we need one or the other. I think we just need to make a choice the same way that they did back in those days, because the reality is they wasn't segregated by choice. They was segregated by force. They was, you know, you will live over here, you will stay over here, like you will not cross this line. Like they got this whole thing called sundown towns, all the places that our ancestors couldn't go past a certain time because it was dangerous, right? Had whole cities and whatnot. So segregation wasn't something that we said, you know what, hey, we just want to separate ourselves from these white folks because we think they crazy. We're not gonna go back to Africa, but we just gonna go over here and do our own thing and can't wait for them to burn us down. Like, I don't think that's what they said. I think they was forced to go over there. And since they was over there together, I think that they said, hey, what we gonna do? We gonna put up a shut up. And that's did they dizzle. And they had a bunch of Black Wall Streets, right? That's a choice that they made. And I think we just need to make the same choice without being forced to make the choice, as, like, for whatever reason. And this is kind of why feelings are important, because, or understanding feelings are important, because if this don't feel like oppression, like if this don't feel like we're being like we need to get our stuff together, if what's going on right now in society doesn't feel like we need to lock arms and and look at and locate your brother to the left and your brother to the right. Like if it don't feel like that, then I don't know what else do you need. Like, do you literally need Martin Luther King to come back and say, I have had another dream?
Yeah.
Like, and if you do, I'm saying you deserve everything that you're getting right now because that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's unnecessary. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to go back to segregation. Like we got right now, and if we just dealt with right now better, right? Like if we can just deal with right now better, we don't need nothing fancy.
But segregation, I don't think segregation is fancy though. You know, I'm thinking
it was fancy because it was forced, right? Like that's what I'm saying. It was imposed. That's what I'm saying. It was fancy.
Yeah, but everybody, but the leader of the desegregation movement got everybody to get behind it, and they were asking for it. You know, they was we want to live over there with y'all. We want to work with y'all at. We want to do the same things with y'all doing. They have, you know, black people asked for it.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if they was led astray or, you know,
that's the part. That's the part right there. That's the part. That part right there, guys.
But I need to have knowledge of it though, for me. I need to have knowledge of it, not a feeling.
And that's the part right there. Like, so what if you can't get no knowledge of our folks being led astray? Like, what if there's no real deal evidence that the minstrel shows were a marketing ploy or manipulation? What if there was no? Because for me, I'm like, there's mad evidence, right, of their diabolical nature to like the same way we get manipulated right now. You can just rewind that and just see how folks was being manipulated back then, especially with less information, especially when folks wasn't able to or allowed to read, and they literally had one person reading to them and saying what the Bible said or what the school book said or what anything said, right? Like I don't like, so for me, if I can't produce evidence and proof to you of that reality, how do we get past, or how do we even have the conversation further? Because that's key to me. Because that's the part where the decision was made. Right? Because they asked for it. And it's like, why?
Okay.
Right?
So for in asking me that question, I'm like, I showed up, bro. I'm here. So I'm already with you. So you wasting time trying to get me to believe in something that, because you wasting time trying to get me to feel how you feel. I ain't gonna feel how you feel. If I wouldn't have showed up, if I already didn't agree that it need to be done, that the work need to be done, that something needs to be done, regardless of how I felt about it. You know? So if me doing the work with you, if me helping you build it is not enough, and you need me to feel it, to feel something, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like you're gonna push me away, because now it's like somebody trying to push their feelings on you, you need to go to church. You don't go to church, you don't feel, you need to feel like this. You need to blah 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 blah. How you don't do blah. It's like, bro, if I'm at the protest with you, I agree with it need to be a protest. I agree. I already agreed that I disagree with whatever happened. You know what I'm saying? But just because I don't disagree exactly with what you disagree with, that right there is something that causes us not to get anything built. Because people don't realize that they already with you, because they showed up. You know, and if I didn't show up to give my all, now if I showed up and you think I'm sabotaging something, then you need to get rid of me.
And that's where I'm at with it, right? Because that's the fast forward part for me, right? Because some people may need people to feel what they need them to feel, right? That's so, because we don't have a culture to lay all these things out, right? Like, you showing up for me, is not enough, right? Because you might just be showing up just to say that you was here, and I 100% need somebody that's gonna to do whatever the hell I need them to do. And if that's not you, right, that's like, for me, I would separate myself. We need to be okay with that part, right? Like, everybody's not for everybody, and we need to find our tribe and do tribal things and let that be our everybody, right? Like, with this whole,
I guess,
I mean, that's literally
but everybody ain't gotta feel like me. You know,
that's literally segregation, though, right? Like, that's literally
no, it's not, because your personal feelings is your personal feelings. You know, that ain't segregation to me. Your feelings is your feelings, how you feel about something. I'm entitled to have my own feelings about a thing. We can agree on an outcome. We can agree on, you know, like what did we talk about? Like when we talked about the little boy getting killed down in South Carolina, right?
That's the store.
Yeah, little Cyrus. Rest in peace to the young Cyrus. And the guy shot him in the back.
Yeah.
All right. So, like, we agreed that what he did was not worth dying for. That was you know, I agree with that. But I'm not gonna get stuck on the part of the feeling so mad about or feeling so I would say, like, having extra feelings. I don't even know how to put it because I don't have it about this guy doing this. Like, he should have went to jail for longer than 3 years. Okay. But if I'm not willing to go and turn my feelings into some actions, okay, where I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go get the justice then. Since they don't want to do it, I'm gonna go get the justice. Then I'm not gonna feel that strongly about it. I'm gonna be trying to look for what was the action that caused the reaction. I'm gonna be looking at the whole spectrum of everything, because there could be something that I'm stuck on that I go and react, but I haven't examined everything. And I think that we do that now as a culture too much. That's what's coming with, like, this, like we joked about it, like this black Karenism, where it's like, just because we are victims, a lot of the times there's this mindset that we're supposed to minimize the things that we do that are wrong because we've been treated so unjustly for so long. And it's just like, I can't say that. You know, I think if you're a person who ain't never broke the law before, maybe you could say that. But I'm a person who done broke the law before. Statute of limitations up. And I went and served my time for, you know, been through court systems or whatever I had need to go through. But I'm just saying, like, if you done broke the law before, like, then you have, unless you are a person who doesn't accept accountability for your own actions, then, or you are a career criminal, you a person who agrees with doing crime. So you minimize, you don't have any self-accountability. I'm just doing what I got to do to survive. That's your mentality. I ain't knocking that, that's what you do, but there's a negative consequence that come with that if you keep going to prison and you keep getting locked up. You know, or it could cause you to get shot. If you done been shot 4, 5 times, 10 times, 9 times, because you out here in the street doing this or doing this, whatever, and you got ops and all this other stuff. It's things that come with that. So I look at it from the larger perspective of like, let's look at all the wrongs, because if we're not looking at all the wrongs, then we're not going to be able to really investigate the right. Okay, so what is right here? Or how can we avoid those situations? And I look for avoidance. Because I look for avoidance because I'm not I wish a mofo would. You know what I'm saying? Because most people really don't wish somebody would. Most people really don't wish somebody would. People be like, I wish a mofo would, but you don't really want to get punched in the face. You don't really want somebody to come up to you and rob you and shoot you, to take something that you would have gave them if they would have asked you. You don't want somebody to break into your house and then you have to shoot them and protect your family. You don't want somebody to step on your shoe and then you have to shoot them in the face, or they try to shoot you because you cool. Like, you don't really want that. Most people really don't want that, but they carry this whole, I wish somebody would. Like, it's a persona. It's like, it's fair. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, if you really
joke about that shit, that's why everybody doing it.
But I'm like, but if you really done stuff before, then all you really want is peace. You know, and I think most responsible people too that ain't even had to do some stuff, they want peace too, because that's how they've been living their life. Is peaceful. They've been avoiding situations. You know, they've known how to de-escalate. They know how to minimize things or to move correctly when they see something beginning to, you know, they have better discernment in that. But I would say situational awareness sometimes, you know, and then some people just be with the smoke, you know. But most gangsters, most real gangsters ain't with no, I wish a mofo would. That's always a crash dummy. Because then as soon as it happened, then what? Then now you actually got to do something. And like we had talked about before, it's like, I come from the era where if I have a problem with you, like when you step to somebody, you remember we saying you step to somebody. When you step to somebody, you either step into them to defuse a situation through a conversation, or you step into them to go in their mouth. To go to their chin. That's what we say. You step into them to go to their chin. So even when you step to them with the conversation, you got to be prepared that they might be wanting to go to your chin. So you got to be prepared for the combat, even no matter how you approaching, even if your approach is peace. So that's why I be like, you know, when it come down to this social integration, like we have to deal with those. We have to deal with trying to socially integrate and survive amongst each other. You know, just trying to
don't move, God. From where you at. Like, don't go to the next question just yet.
No, I'm not. Okay. We have to survive with each other, knowing how to be with each other, knowing how to socially interact with each other. So even more so, being in environments where we was talking about assimilating, like that's a whole nother part of social integration now, where you got to learn that language and learn how to learn what you can and cannot do. You know, learn what's acceptable. So yeah, so that's why I'm like, hey, when it come to the question, you know, pre-segregation versus now, have it made things better? No, I haven't. I'm definitely not thinking that it's made nothing better. And you know, people not really putting enough effort into it. I think it's too many distractions and there's too many things that, you know, everybody want this perfect thing, and it's not going to be a perfect thing. It's either you're going to show up and you're going to participate, or either you're going, you know, and you want to be there because that's where your heart is at. And it's like, what more does a person need? You know, what more do a person need?
And that's the thing, right? That's why consideration is important. Like, so going back to the young guy Cyrus. So this is where feelings come into play. Where you and I disagree at,
right,
is the very thing that you're talking about. you say you go back to going back to all the wrongs and going back to the facts. And when you and I see two different things of the same things, we're talking about our feelings at that point, right?
No, I'm not.
I know you're not, but we are, right? The conversation.
We not. No, we not. I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm not. I'm telling you, you are. I'm not.
But if you having a conversation with me, God, we are.
Nah, we not though, God. I'm listening to you, but you talking about your.
If you have no,
I'm
God,
talking about.
If you see something different than what I see, right? We got to resolve that, right? As long as you standing on, and that's why we're talking. That's why I'm saying at that point we're talking about our feelings, because as long as you're standing on what you see, right, and I'm standing on what I see, and it's different than what you see, at that point we're talking about our feelings, right?
No. You said that it was wrong for him to get shot, right?
No, you said that the young guy hit first, right? Because he put the water bottles in his jacket. I said I didn't see that.
No. I ain't say he hit first.
You did say that.
Where I said emblematically, he threw the first punch. Meaning that his actions, okay, if he wouldn't have done that, we could have, should have, he might not be dead.
That's what we disagree at, right? You saying he did something, I say he didn't do something. You saying he put the water bottles in his jacket and took the water bottles out of his jacket. I seen that. I didn't see that. I saw him put the water bottles to his body and put them back to the damn thing. That's what I saw. Right? So that's what I'm saying, God. You and I saw the same video, right? You from your spot, me from my spot, saw two different things, and those two different perspectives made you and I feel two different ways about the same incident.
Nah, I ain't feel nothing different, God. I'm telling you, I ain't feel nothing different. I'm saying I'll even rock with you. I'll rock with your vision. Even if he didn't put it in his hoodie, okay? He took it out and he put it back, okay? From what I know is, I don't see people going in the store, loading up stuff, putting it back on a regular basis. That's not normal, okay? Especially if you go into that store all the time and you in the hood. So you know these things. You know that these people be tripping. So when you go in there, why go in there even playing with them people? Okay?
That's what we differ. I hear what you're saying.
So you saying it's okay to go in there and play with them folks?
See, that sound like feelings to me, God.
That's not feelings. I'm asking you a question.
It sound
like I don't know.
That sound like feelings.
That sound like I don't know.
That sound what I think should happen is those folks shouldn't have stores in our communities if they can't deal with our people, right? And historically,
wow, that's crazy though, God.
Historically, right? Like if you worried about if you worried about your store getting robbed, I think you either need the highest security or don't have a store, because stores get robbed, or they might not, right? Like I don't think that Shorty hit first. I think he went into the store. Like what you say you don't see all the time, I do see all the time, right? I participate in, like I said, I don't know what I want when I go to the store all the time. So it's nothing for me to walk to a store, to a cabinet, open that joint up, pick something up, go to someplace else, come back, put that joint back, grab something totally different, right? And it's not because I'm not purposeful. Like I went to the store because I wanted something. What did I want? I don't know yet until I get there. Maybe the advertisement and the marketing might entice me, then tell me what I'm craving, because I'm craving something, right? Because I'm socially integrated into this society that got me fucked up, got me messed up, got me a bad diet, nutritionally, mentally, spiritually, all that, to where I went to the store, don't even know what I want. Like it happens all of the time. I see it every day, God.
Hey, I'm saying, but every day it don't cost somebody their life, right?
That's not my point. My only point is,
Okay, then.
my only point is, you and I saw an incident two different ways, right? And we don't have nothing in our culture that helps us resolve our differences. So all we're left with is what is our feelings. Even if you choose
I'm
not
not
to,
left with no
even if
feelings, though.
even if you choose not to feel no way about it.
Yeah, I don't feel no way about it. I don't feel no way about it, God, at
That's
all.
the feeling, God.
Nah, no, it's not. It's not no feeling. What I'm looking at is that the action, every action has a reaction, and you don't know what it's going to be. So then I have to go to this. Then I have to go to this, and this ain't even where it's even.
I'm not trying to justify anything, God. All
I ain't justifying nothing.
I'm only talking about a difference of perspective is all I'm talking about.
Right, but you calling it feelings, and I'm saying yes, it's perspectives, but it ain't feelings. I could rock with that. And what I'm saying is simply that every action has a reaction. So if we can sit up here and talk about all these other things that make sense too, then it's only somebody's feelings that says, oh, nah, we can't talk about the fact that maybe if he wouldn't have did that, then that reaction then he wouldn't have been in that situation. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying if we take all the feelings out of it and we look at all the wrongs, then now there's a full accountability, and we say, okay, well, what could he have done different? Not try to put myself into the shoes and be like, well, I do this all the time too, because I don't. You know, some people do, like you said, which is fair, but I don't do that. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of I don't do that, you know, and I'm not looking at it like it's bad. I'm looking at it like, guess what? He got killed behind it.
That's why I'm asking the question, God. Like,
he got killed behind it. You know, I'm not willing to, now that I seen somebody get killed behind it, I'm not willing to go do it because, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, yeah. So, nah, I can learn from other people's mistakes. I'm not walking around like I wish a mofo would, so I'm going to go do it too.
But is that,
I dare somebody to try me. Like, nah, I ain't on that, fam.
But God, like, so if you do see a thing being done all the time and participate in the thing all the time, and then a person, some random person someplace else dies behind doing the thing, does that person become the rule now?
They become an example.
I think the person that did the shooting should be the example, right? Because there's
all an example. It's all an example.
But if you have more examples of doing the exact same thing or seeing the exact same thing being done, and no store owners chasing nobody out the store or shooting nobody, then you got one person that says, you know what, I can't handle this for whatever reason. This same person got 3 incidents or 3 different shooting things about this same thing. Like, I think that all the other evidence, if you got 99 other things of no issue, but one issue, I think that one issue comes to, like, I don't know. I think they the outlier over here. Not the little boy that's died, but the murderers.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, that was wrong too. All right, that was wrong too. Like, that was totally wrong for that little boy to lose his life over something so.
But what did the little boy do that was wrong?
He went into a store that he knows has a history of nonsense because he live around there, because he from there, because he from that hood. They probably go in there and steal all the time. So he made a choice that day to go in there and play with them people. That's what he did wrong.
And you saw that on the video.
Yeah, he was playing with them. Yeah, he played with them people. He walked up. He played with them people. Yeah, he did. That's
the only thing that we differ on.
Yeah, I think he played with them people.
I don't know that. Like, that's
from me being young, going in the store stealing, going in the store doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just like I think Trayvon beat the brakes off George Zimmerman. That's why he got shot. Because I used to be a little young jit talking about can't nobody tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? If I would have seen you, God, and I was 16, 17, and you was trying to straighten me out or trying to give me some positive advice, I might have told you, F you. You know what I'm saying? Real talk.
Yeah, but
You know,
George
it wouldn't have mattered.
George Zimmerman wasn't giving positive advice.
I ain't say giving positive advice. I'm saying I said straighten me out. I said straighten me out.
Think George Zimmerman was trying to straighten out Trayvon Martin?
If you was being nosy, bro, if you was doing anything, I would tell you what, you ain't my daddy. You ain't my daddy.
You think that George Zimmerman was trying to straighten out? He was trying to be a
he was trying to check him. Okay, so if you got straighten him out confused, he was trying to check him.
And you think that was okay?
I absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was absolutely out of pocket. Just like I think Trayvon Martin didn't deserve to die. Okay, but when he put his hands on George Zimmerman, all right,
in retaliation of being assaulted
verbally. So you
can't move no more. Somebody stands in front of you and they say you can't go nowhere.
Verbally.
Wow. Okay.
Verbally, fam. It's not me, God. It's the law. It's not like you want me to sit up here. Like you want me to sit up here. Like you want me to sit up here and agree with my feeling of what I really would want to do in that situation. But I'm saying I'm mature enough to know better. Like I'm not a child. And I'm not going, and what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to allow my feeling, because I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all had to bail me out because of my feelings. You understand? So like I done been there and done that. I'm above that now. I know better. I know what it's like to let your feelings overwhelm you, even when you may think that you in the right, but you really in the wrong. Why? Because your actions are wrong within the law. The law that's what? That's already stacked up against you, that you didn't have no say-so in. And guess what? And you probably didn't even know when you committed the crime. Okay. So I'm not, so you ain't never gonna hear me say nothing about, okay, well, yeah, he's standing there, he blocking you off, he doing this. Man, I'm just gonna chill. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait till the police get here. That's what I'm gonna do. Now, if you just shoot me in my head, if I can't run, if you're blocking me off where I can't run, I can't go nowhere, then guess what? I'm just gonna wait till the police get here. I ain't tripping. Especially if I ain't doing nothing illegal.
I feel you, God. I don't agree, but I feel you.
If I ain't doing nothing illegal, just like that dude, you sent that thing for that dude that was getting patted down in the store. And what I say, okay, that's messed up. But now he has a choice not to go and spend his money in that establishment anymore. Now, if he chooses after getting treated like that to go back into that store and spend his money again, then that's on him. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't care nothing about it. I don't care nothing about it for real at all, because he made that choice. It's just like we got a story tonight we're gonna get into with the flavor bombs. Like the young guy died, and then they was talking about protest all this Asian stuff and protest all this Cyrus, the young kid Cyrus, who we was just talking about, rest in peace, rest in power. They was talking about boycott all this stuff. And you think black women are gonna boycott the Asian beauty supply stores? That ain't happening. Black women ain't boycotting the Asian beauty supply stores. Black women ain't boycotting going to go get their nails and their feet done. So I be like, man, forget about how I feel about it, because my feelings ain't gonna change nothing. I understand what our people ain't gonna do because of this social integration. I understand what our people ain't gonna do. And I'm just like, if everybody felt the same, that would be cool, because then that would allow somebody to agree with something for a change, all on one thing. But how? That's what I'm saying. It need to be something more. It need to be something more where people want to do something. And it ain't gonna be keep on asking the same people who created the exact same conditions to change them. Why would they do? If I put my foot on your neck for a reason, why would I ever take it off? So all I'm doing is just, please take your foot off my neck. Please take your foot off my neck. Please, please. I don't never want to reach for a machete and chop your leg off. And if I ain't gonna reach for no machete and chop your leg off, then I deserve to keep the foot on. Then hey, I guess then you just supposed to be standing on my neck. And that's the conversation all these tough people don't be wanting to have. Everybody tough as a mug. I wish a mofo would, but they don't want to put their life on the line for it. They ain't willing to die about it. Die about some black freedom. So that's why I ain't on it like that. I'm like, man, we got to be sharp. And the things that we need and the things that we should be doing is we should be coming together. We should be taking examples from the same thing that's within our question, the pre-segregation era. What were those things that were working for us? And why don't we try to do those and emulate those things now, recreate those things today?
That's what I was saying, God. That's why I was trying to talk about feelings, because if we don't address feelings, the only thing that's left is to actually go back to being really segregated, and that wasn't by choice, that was imposed, right? And in that imposition, our ancestors made a decision to come together, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if this don't feel like that, then there's no other way for us to come together, right? And that's why. That's how we got here, right? So we don't have culture, and we don't have culture. You get two people that see the same thing, disagree, and go in two different directions on a path of solutions, and will never ever actually come together on a particular thing, because they're going to stay walking parallel, because they feel differently about the thing. They're looking at it from two different perspectives and not trying to understand how the other person is seeing it, so that the lines can actually cross or be a bolder line or bold line, right?
But ain't it bold if we get to the same place?
No.
Why not? How is it not?
That's a dot. The dot is bold once we get to the same place, but the line itself is thin, and the path doesn't become solid if we all taking different ones, right? Again, lack of culture. Culture is this is repetitive, is symbolic, is something that is passed downable, right? Again, that roadway is a solid lane that we can all ride with our horses, with our tanks, with whatever kind of vehicles we have. But if we all take different paths, and I got this little thin road over here, and I'm telling a bunch of people, and I'm telling people, hey, I got the way. You telling people you got the way. Everybody telling everybody they got the way, and we in the world of influencers and algorithms, and who says they got the way, the best way. And now everybody go that way, and it's a flimsy road. And in fact, it's the completely wrong road for you to be on. It just looks like it might be the right road because everybody say it is, because nobody's addressing their feelings actually. They're just having them and either crashing out or going to be by themselves, right? We're not actually addressing our lack of feelings, and why don't we care about these things, and how come when we can have a conversation with somebody, we can discard the other person's feelings as if it doesn't matter, but still want to have a conversation. Like, that's important. Right.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you can't discard another person's feelings, but that don't mean you have to agree with them, though.
It's never about agreeing, right?
It is. But if it's on the path, like you saying, like, how does that don't make sense, God? If it's on the path to the same road, then we got to agree that we both gonna take this road to get there, right? Because you say there have to be a road. If not, if you saying I'm bringing tanks and I'm saying, well, I'm riding a horse, I don't need that road, the tank road. You need a larger road to get to the dot. I just need this path right here. I'm still rocking with you.
Yeah,
But you might need a tank road. I just might need a trail. You see what I'm saying?
No, you're not rocking with me. We're gonna end up in the same place, right? You're on your own road with your people in your lane, rocking with people that rock with you.
No, if I'm on a horse by myself,
you by yourself,
right? But I'm saying, but I could be running point because your road is big, all right? And people hear you coming. But I could be traveling on foot in the trail leading point.
If
you understand what I'm saying?
But if you're running point, that means that we're already together.
And that's what I said.
Which means that we are
together.
Which means that we're already thinking similarly.
That we're trying to get to that same point.
Nah, because if you don't, if we don't call our danger the same, right? If you see something that's not dangerous, that I think is dangerous, I can't trust you to be point for me.
Okay, that's fair, but why did we agree to go to the same point? Why do those two people, right? So it's water there.
The water hole over here is drying up, and there's water that way.
Okay,
we need to get that way.
Okay.
You want to go left, I want to go right. Which way do we go?
No, you can't go left and go right if the water hole is north. Then I can't go east and you go west to get there. We both have to go north.
No, we both have to end up north. However we get to the north is how we get to the north, right? We may have to go west, right? We may have to take a roundabout. It may be dangers. It may be impediments, maybe hazards to navigation that prevents us from taking a straight path.
From going the straight path. That's true.
Right. So if we gotta go around these hazards of navigation, and I'm saying port 15 and you saying starboard 10, I think we about to run into something.
Yeah. I'm rocking with where you're going. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I'm thinking that is a difference, because one is operatively and one is just emblematical, superfluitous, like it's figurative, it's philosophical. So I'm like, I know the difference. I can distinguish the difference. If we going to get the water and the power is in numbers and we going this way, and whatever we encounter this way, this what we take on, then that's which way I'm going. Because if I go this way by myself, then I may not have somebody to watch this angle, that angle, this angle, whatever. All right. But in these situations where it's just some philosophically, it's some water, then you go your way, I go my way. But in a real life situation, like we're gonna need to be on the same path to get to the water.
That's the problem, God. We make a lot of these things philosophical when they're not, right? Like, because we disagree on the same thing that we're seeing, right? And we don't want to talk about why we disagree about what we're seeing, right?
I explained why I disagree with it. Yeah, I explained why I don't see it as. But when you talking about the young boy with the water, when you said that it was he didn't do nothing, I think that he did something. But I explained why I think he did something.
And I accepted it. And I didn't.
You didn't agree with it, but you accept my.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And then I said I agree with what you said. No, I said I accepted what you're saying, but I don't agree with it. Right. Because I think he did something. Right. So I'm saying that's a balance right there. That's like,
and
because we both agree that the outcome shouldn't have been the outcome. And that's why I'm just like, the outcome should not have been that.
But what you just demonstrated is us ending up at the same place, but taking two different directions.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
That's what I was saying earlier about the separate paths, thin lanes.
I get it.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
I get it, but
that's the importance of birds of a feather and thinking alike and all that stuff is all about what you're trying to do. That's all I was trying to say.
I get that, fam, but I didn't discredit your feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I didn't.
And I also didn't discredit your perspective. I just disagreed with it because I think that there was something wrong done. you know, because dude had a reason. I mean, I don't know what's going on in that man's mind, but he tried to justify him killing that young boy over waters. That's what we heard in the courtroom, that it was over water. So I'm wishing he didn't even go in there and put his hand on no waters and didn't touch no waters.
I didn't hear that.
Because yeah, like that was in the
I heard the attorney, the only thing I heard was no 14-year-old boy should have a weapon. That's all I heard.
Yeah, see,
I heard
that too.
I heard that drama, and I'm like, but if he got shot, if he got shot in the back, and this guy saying that, like, so is that the reason why he got found not guilty, because he had a gun? Like, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, so
I gotta listen to everything.
Like, that's what I'm saying, God. It's not you and me, right? Like, because like we know each other, right? It's just
no, but I'm saying though, God, like I gotta listen to everything though. That's why I don't just focus on that stuff like you talking about, because that part right there had me pissed the F off. You know what I'm saying? If I just focus on that stuff what you was talking about, that'll have me pissed off. But that's why I had to listen to everything. And it gave me a better understanding of where, like, okay, now, of course I don't agree with the outcome. But now it puts it in perspective of why he thought that was okay. See, that Asian dude thought that was okay because he thought the little boy stole water. Okay. That's the reason why in court they was there talking about that he was on trial for shooting a young person for allegedly stealing water. That was the whole narrative.
I heard a different narrative. I heard the narrative about the gun. That's what I heard. I heard the narrative.
It wasn't about
I heard that he shot this young boy because he thought that the young boy pulled the gun on his son.
It wasn't that.
So that's what I'm saying, God. Like,
it wasn't that.
When we hear two different things about the same thing, we have to be we need a community space where we can acknowledge, right? We're talking about social integration, right? Like this is how we're socially integrated, to not find agreements on why we disagree, right? It's just we just need to get to understanding, right? Like, again, I didn't have to agree. I just need to accept, like, okay, that's how you feel. Got it. And now I got the choice to rock with you or not rock with you based on how you feel about things, right? Or how you process, right? Like that's everybody's right. Right. But if we go around lying to each other and just faking it to make it, because we want friends and we want the numbers. Like me personally, I'd rather rock out by myself if I don't have the numbers that I actually need.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't want anybody around me just so they can check a box. Like, get out of here with that shit. Right. Like for me personally, like I need what I need. And
yeah.
And if you're thinking differently, I definitely don't need you over here, because that's not you specifically, just the university.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, right. Like,
trust me, I ain't taking it personal. I know when we having a conversation and when it's general, God, you know,
right? Like,
because for real, like that, and that is a perfect example though of being able to have a difference.
Yeah.
In that, you know, in that situation. But that's why I said, like, I listened to everything, you know, and the key things that are the injustices, those are the triggering things. So understanding that those are the triggering things, you may keep hearing that stuff. You may keep hearing that over and over again, because they will highlight that stuff and highlight it. He shot him in the back. Okay, we know that. He said he had a gun, and they highlight that. Okay, what did he really do wrong? Did he really do anything wrong? Well, let's take a poll on how many people just go to the store, pick up stuff, blah blah blah. Let's take a poll on how many people go into an environment that they know that the owner be shooting people, like in your community. You know, like, why you even gonna go in there playing with them people like that? Like, why even do that? Like, don't even give them a reason. Why do we not have that in the front of why? What happened to don't give a person a reason? What happened to that? What happened to that mindset? Everybody's so extra tough, but ain't willing to die for nothing. And that's the part that is sickening our people, because everybody want to be tough, but they need to be provoked to be tough. They ain't never been no wolf and attack.
This is America. This is America.
You know, like they ain't never been no threat for real.
Nope.
Of course, ain't nobody gonna bother you if you ain't no threat, because the wolves ain't looking for you. But if you've been a threat before, then yeah, you're gonna have the wolves come after you because you a threat.
I think we did a show about that before, guy, and I think I made a statement where I was like, I remember growing up where you wouldn't be caught dead singing or reciting hardcore gangster rap lyrics or any street lyrics outside unless you was one of them boys, right? Because cats would 100% try you on that stuff back in those days, right? If they heard you just repeating a song, that it was like, oh, you living that, like you about that, like you had to do a thing. But we live in a society where the internet has made it to where everything is out there. So you got people, you got Martha Stewart and them crip walking, and everybody doing all kind of fugazi crazy stuff, and it's like all of this, like look at the little the 6ix9ine dude, everybody talking about is he a snitch or not, blah, like all this goofy ass stuff that's would have never happened before because people would have been too scared to attempt it, to try it, right? But now, like, because our good brother Cedric the Entertainer get, you know, and the famous kings of comedy make that dumbass joke about I wish a motherfucker would, like everybody walked away from that talking about I wish a motherfucker, and it's never been funny to me because nobody wish, right? You know, everybody who wish a motherfucker would is locked up or dead, right? Because they do something, because they do something about it, right? Like you wish a motherfucker would, and you do something about it. Not say, hey, my man, you sitting in my seat. No, you snuff, right? Like
yeah. Yeah, you grab them, get them up on my seat.
Like you do stuff, right? Like you do stuff,
yeah.
You know.
You might ask one time, but that's it. After the one time, like yeah.
Nah, but not cats that's on that timing. Like everybody that's like them cats that's on them. You got people that's walking on them trains right now that's looking for problems, looking for somebody that's willing to defend themselves so they can get off what they try, so they can get off what they're trying to get off, right? And if you're not willing to defend yourself, you gotta stay in the house, right?
I mean,
you don't have to, but
you know, I'm just saying, just keep it peaceful. That's it. Just keep it peaceful. Keep it keep it respectful. Respect others. Like, you know, move with some respect. Move with some consideration, some compassion. You know, don't be out here trying to, you know, carry that type of attitude where I wish you would do something, or I wish all this extra tough shit. Like, because you would find somebody who's more tougher, or somebody with less to lose, and they demonstrate. You know what I'm saying? And then is you gonna really be ready? You know, and when we talk about that, that's just on the social interaction part of it. But it's like looking at the bigger scope of like why that energy should be put more towards a collective of Black people coming together and trying to build some things. When we talk about this question that we've been on, you know, the pre-segregation, is because like all of this stuff the way it is now, it's only benefiting a few selective people. It's not benefiting everybody. You know, if we can sit here and say, yeah, our lives are this, our lives are that, we doing well, we doing this, we doing that, being thankful for our blessings and the opportunities that we've taken advantage of and created for ourselves, then yeah, like, okay, cool. But when we look at like people as a whole, we still have things that we have to work through, that we have to find out to say, okay, Should we be doing this or should we not be doing this?
You know, so for instance, God, you made a statement about the young brother going into that store, right? He shouldn't have gone into that store because old boy is known for shooting people, right? Like, for me personally, I think one or two things should have happened. Either A, that store owner shooting people, he's scared, he shouldn't be allowed to be in this community no more, shut the business down, or the community is like, yo, so this business owner is having to actually pull pistols on us. We need to secure our establishments to make sure that our business owners and everybody, like, either the community need to rise up and do that so that the store owners don't have to, or the store owners need to boogie and get up out of town because they just can't integrate properly, right? Because to your point, like, again, the only thing that we disagree on is, and it's not really a disagreement, it's just we just see things differently, right?
Right. On that what you just said, God, I agree if it was two things.
Yeah.
One, if we had communities.
Which is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
So we don't have communities. And then two, that all of that makes sense if people didn't embrace ninja culture to be like, oh, you know, child down there, he crazy. He crazy. Yeah, he you know, he be toting the strap and everything, man. He lit, blah, blah. They promoting the foolishness because we still going in there patronizing. And then everybody thinking because he lick a shot and he around there like, these brothers know I don't play, blah, blah, blah. All that type of, you know what I'm saying? Taking the money in the community and going 40, 50 minutes away, living in a nice way better community, you know? So if we stop supporting it, stop shopping there, okay, and buy the stores ourselves, right? Then yeah, all that'll work. But that's going back to what? Pre-segregation, when we thought like that, when we had our own gas stations, when we had all that stuff in our own, when we were encouraging each other to own this stuff in our community, not worried about how we gonna get treated or how we pose to act when we go in the store. If all of our traumas, they supposed to identify with it when they not even from here and they just in the community making money off of it. You know, so that's why I'm saying, God, like, I'm looking at the whole picture, you know, from all of our traumas to all of the stuff that we are socially integrated into, accepting, thinking is cool. Those are solutions, God, that yes, I agree. If we could, I feel the same way that's the way to handle it. Yeah. We ain't got no communities, though.
Which is why the young brother is dead, because
that's why he dead.
Because we don't have communities, right?
And we don't have people that look at that as a problem. That what you stated, that this person is in this community and he's shooting at people. He's shooting at people who come in there and spend money, regardless of what the situations were. They hype on it. Oh man, he turn up. Oh yeah, he this. Oh yeah, he lit. Oh yeah, man, don't be going down there mess with child. You know, child black for real. Oh, he not. No, he not. And because that mindset is in the culture, because people think that that's cool, all right, that's cooler than accountability, that's cooler than responsibility, that's cooler than ownership, then the young brother gotta lose his life, no matter how you feel about or I feel about it. Whether we agree or disagree on our feelings, on the actions that happen, that young brother should not be dead. Should not. And I just wish he wouldn't have went in there to do it. Just like I wish George Floyd wouldn't have went in there and had some real money. Just like I wish what's the young brother that got killed by the police with a BB gun. I wish he would have had some parental supervision out there and wouldn't have been out there with no BB gun and they just came up and killed them.
Oh, what's that young brother name?
Tamir Rice or something like that.
Tamir Rice, yeah.
You know, like all of these situations, I'm looking at like, man, how can this not happen again? You know, it ain't to be scared, it's to prevent to be preventative. Like, we don't want these babies to keep, because it just keep happening and 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 keep happening. But everybody just be focused on what these people did and all the triggering stuff. That's right. That's right. They're 100% right about it. 1,000% right about it. But ain't nobody riding though for that shit. Ain't nobody riding for it. Ain't nobody like, you know what, that's wrong. I'm sick and tired of this. You know who did something? That dude who the police officer shot his son. He went and killed them police officers. You remember that? He killed a random police officer.
Oh, Rodney Hinton. Oh yeah. And a lot of people, was talking about that stuff. That brother is a soldier. A lot of people was talking about, he wrong. He shot the wrong. He killed the wrong police. I'm like, man, whatever. That dude had. He just left the police station from watching the whole video.
Look,
man,
I don't agree. I don't agree with what he did, but I salute the fact that he took his problem to the people that he had a problem with. And that's the era that I come from. If you got a problem with somebody, when you step to him, how you gonna step to him? And that's what he did. He didn't go complain about it and moan and groan to somebody else, talk about how this is unfair, how we've been going through this, and I hate this. He said, I'm willing to die about mine.
Didn't hide his hand afterwards. Right? He didn't cower. He
was not a coward.
He did not. Like he knew what the fuck he did, and like he crashed out.
Right. And he accepted response. He took responsibility, whether they kill me or whether, or whether I go to prison for the rest of my life. I'm willing to make that choice for this issue that I feel so passionately and hurt about, that I'm willing to do that. And I just be like, everybody be feeling passionate about shit that they ain't willing to die for. So why I'm carrying that stress? I'm not gonna carry that stress, God. I'm not, because I ain't willing to die about it. If I was willing to, I got enough stresses on me that I'm willing to die about already. So no. So if it's something that I'm willing to die about, then I gotta, of course. But he's a clear example of that. So I'd be like, it's wolf tickets. Everybody talking about woo, 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 but ain't nobody ready to shoot. And these people ain't doing, and these people, like, we ain't talking about no I always say, like, if it's a war going on and it's constant. So if you think that you're gonna win a war peacefully, you out your rabbit ass mind. And that's all they want you to do, is continue to think that you're gonna be able to ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask. Please. Don't matter how you say it. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If you ain't willing to go shed blood, man, forget about it. Integrate.
Socially
integrate. Like, for real, like, because the only other way is, let's go to our full question. Does social media encourage social integration or social separation? Why not? Why not? Some people might say that we encouraging social separation. No, what I'm saying is we talking about social unification. That's what we talking about amongst a black peoples that have been socially integrated and tricked into segregation again from desegregation. Because if we talking about pre-segregation and things were better, then desegregation really just was something like, oh yeah, we break up the unity.
All facts.
We break up the unity. Now what? Now they don't even trust each other.
All facts.
And we live in this. This is what it is now. So how you see social media playing into this whole role of this thing?
Firstly, like, it goes back to our difference of perspective, right? Who's to say? I mean, short of us looking at the exact same video, right? Who's to say that the video that you looking at, the video I'm looking at, of the same exact thing, neither one have been altered or edited for dramatic effect? Like, So that's the first thing. But then when I think about the going back to what you're saying about these feelings and nobody's out here, trying to actually do anything about it. Like the Candace Oweses, the Chud the Builders, all these different types of people, even all the videos of the Karens and all that stuff. I don't know. I feel like social media is telling everybody to stay away from each other, right? It feels like when you see somebody on some random, for you video, whatever, right? Somebody minding their business in a park, just so happen to be sitting there and recording themselves meditating, or recording themselves playing the guitar, recording themselves doing whatever. Some nosy person, some George Zimmerman type person takes it upon themselves. So what they call them Karen takes it upon themselves to just interrupt you and interfere with what you got going on, only to just call the police. And it kind of feels like they really don't care if the police take you away or not. Like the whole point is to just disrupt your current happiness.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so that's what's actually happening. And now you have to, navigate and play chess with this bully that just walked up and infringed on your civil liberties and your freedoms and your rights, and answer their questions. Like me personally, I'm anti all that. Like I'm anti answering people's questions just because they ask me. I think that you need to qualify your question. Do you have the right to ask me that question? Do I have to answer that question? But that's just me, right? Like I'd rather have that conversation and walk away from you once I realize that you're a dummy. Right? And I don't have to have this conversation with you, right? I could just leave you standing here and let you stew. Like that's me. But everything I see on social media seem like, women are scared. Women are choosing bears over men. Guys are going to play. Oh, it's just weird, bro. Like everything is seeming like is pushing people away from each other purposefully, and pushing us into a segregated thought process, right? Because again, I use places like New York and where I grew up at. I guess different now than the way it was, but even the way that it is now, even with the gentrification, the idea is it's crazy, God. Like I think social media is not helpful like at all. Like I think once you got Martha Stewart Crip walking on TV with Snoop, and Snoop think it's cool, and everybody looking at Snoop think that it's cool that Snoop is doing this, and like I think all of it just becomes corny at that point, and all of the gangsters kind of look like suckers, right? They just kind of look like, the old school bullies. Now they found a new way to bully people. Like it's just weird, bro. Like I don't like it. Like social media is not, for what I see, like it's not helpful. It's not bringing us together where it could. Like it has the capacity to, but from what I'm seeing, like even with the protests, like nothing about those protests any of them make me want to go out there and protest, right? Or like nothing says like I know what your cause is, and we're all out here with the same thought process and purpose, and we're trying to get to the same dot, right? What I see is come out here if you feel a way. This is a good opportunity to get yours off.
Right. to commit some break-ins, some little vandalism will get you
like
little,
under the guise of protest, right? And it's like, you know, so they use social media to gather people, but it's really to break up the fabric of our society, and it's just disgusting from my perspective, right? So yeah, that's what I got. God, I think it's separating us.
Yeah, I think so too, guy. That's where I was leaning. You made an excellent point, as always. But those riots and that stuff, I always am disappointed when I see Black people come together in such a powerful force for such a useless.
Yeah, right.
You know, like I'm like, you know, I'm watching it, you know, I'm catching it, and I'm just like, damn, like, you know, people coming together, like, okay, what's going to happen here? What is this? And then it's just like, oh, it's just vandalism and looting and
That's it.
thievery and, you know, and destruction of, you know, the things in your own community. And it's like, and I could see if it was like, okay, it was like a happy medium, or it was a purpose other than just destroy. It was like, we gonna burn it down. We don't care if they get the insurance money. We gonna burn it down so we can buy it up cheap.
Keep burning it so they'll leave.
So they'll leave, and then we gonna build it, and then it's gonna be ours.
That's what I said. Make the child uninsurable.
Right. So it's kind of like a reverse Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know how they kept burning us down, we rebuild it, burn us down, we rebuild it, burn us down, till we just got tired of rebuilding, and then now it's correct. You know, so it's just kind of like if I saw that happening, then I would be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go out here and burn something so we can, you know, I might participate, so that way we can, you know, crowd fund and get some and own these properties and, you know, and be able to build these communities up. If that's how we have to get the people out, if we can't just be like a peaceful protest would be like, just stop spending money there, you know. But I understand how a lot of times in the communities, people don't have resources to travel to go to other places to be able to spend the money. You know, the stuff that's right there in the community is convenient, so that's they have easier access to it. But then it's just like, then it's that double thing. That's that well, why would you do that when you burn it down? Now that stress is automatically put on you to have to go and find those resources outside of the community somewhere else. So it's like, what's the point? Like, you know, that shows you when it's just it's overcharged with emotion, and there isn't any strategy behind the execution of these things. Let's see who we got over here in the chat. We got somebody in the chat right now. Are you familiar with the term color revolution? Oh no, let us know about it. Roger Dodger Esquire. You know, let us know about it. Let us know about the color revolution. You rocking with us. We appreciate you rocking with us, Roger Dodger. Smash that like button, please, and thank you, Esquire. But yeah, and right now we are on our fourth question. Does social media, where we at right here? Does social media encourage social integration or social separation? Why not? So yeah.
Yo, on your disappointment, God, like this is why I feel like we're doing this show, right? Because you know we use these words all flippantly, and I think what your problem is ultimately, and what my problem is the same problem. Like they use the word protest for riots, right?
For riots, yeah.
Right. The last protest, like for real, was a civil rights joint, and all those people like they all got training and they had a plan, they had a vision, like everybody was on the same page, like the bus, like the whole the Montgomery bus boycott, like that was a couple years of hoofing it.
Yeah, because laws got changed.
Right? Like things like people all had to feel a certain way and be on the same page and agree, even if they didn't feel the same way, they had to still agree to do it.
Yeah,
right?
They showed up.
Or they get mocked. Right? And the community had to be willing to drag somebody who crossed the line, so to speak. Right?
Yeah. I mean, or get dragged.
Oh, you had to be willing to get like that's what I'm saying, right?
You had to be willing to get dragged.
Right. Like and that we don't see any of that, right? What we see is we see people go to protest at protests, die while protesting, and then they want the world to feel sorry for them for dying for what they love to do. Like this, like you went out there with a purpose to stand in the way of progress or of the law or the way. Like that's not gonna be easy, right? And it's, I don't know, like I feel like these are real riots and they just call them protests and people are not prepared because they're not all thinking the same way. They're not even necessarily trying to get to the same dot necessarily, right? I think they just be out there just rioting.
Okay. Yeah, they do be out there riding, God. I believe that. You know, like I see it. You know, and that's where I do be disappointed because I'm like, the manpower is there. It's just like it's not
no focus.
Yeah, it's not that thing like you was talking about where everybody is on the same path and they got the same goal. You know, it seems like it starts like that, but then it turns into this whole we just gonna loot and we just gonna burn
and burn stuff and flip cars over and
right.
yell and twerk.
And yell and twerk, right? And that's gonna be what we got out of it.
And that is the protest.
Right.
I went out there and twerked in front of a cop. Hey, take that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So
oh God.
Definitely y'all let us know what y'all think in the chat or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching the show. Does social media encourage social integration or social separation? Why or why not? And yeah, y'all smash that like button. Everybody still rocking with us. Roger Dodger put something in here. Asked us a question. We're gonna go back to your question real quick. Are you familiar with the term color revolution? No, we aren't. We weren't even familiar with this term social integration. You know, a lot of the stuff that before we go into your answer of color revolution, which we appreciate you hanging out with us. So we're gonna give you a little time tonight. When we do these shows here, because you just first time we seen you pop up in our chat. A lot of this stuff, you know, you're a human being. I'm guessing you're not a bot. Everybody has meanings. I'm sure you have meanings that you put to things too. So that's why we have these conversations, and because people will have meanings to stuff like we have meanings to stuff, and we don't have a level that we meet on to balance the communication. So we need a definition. We need to define things to understand what they are, so that way we can agree when we have conversations. You know, we striving for effective communication and understanding of these words so we can apply them correctly. All right. So we didn't even know what social integration was. Now, we would like, when you come into the chat, to have a conversation about what we're talking about. You know, not try to start your own conversation in the chat. But we're going to rock with you tonight before we get to our flavor bomb, because we got time. Because I never heard of a color revolution. So, you know, it sounds like something in a crayon box. So we're going to check it out. So it says, so Roger Dodger Esquire says, a psyop of mass protests and political movements designed for desired cause other than what the professed mission of the so-called movement, typically used in foreign theaters, but also domestic. Okay. So Is that what those things were? You know, those is that what we're witnessing now when we see these riots that are disguised as protests? You know, is it a psyops of mass protests and political movement other than what the professed mission is, you know? Because that's what it looks like.
That's what it
You
looks
know?
like.
So thank you for that. We know what to call it now. It's a color revolution. Okay. Sounds like something on a Paris runway. That's what it sounds like. it sounds like a Benetton ad. It sounds like a Benetton commercial, you know, or Adidas commercial, or Polo commercial, or something like that. You know, sound like a clothing commercial, a color revolution, maybe a Swatch, a new Swatch edition, the color revolution or something. You know, that's what it sounds like. But either way, having the term of it and understanding what it is, I'm still disappointed with these things.
Yeah.
You know, and they are a complete waste of time. You know, yeah. You know, I think it's a complete waste of time. Yeah, would you say exactly? You were talking about the protests, hence why I brought. Yeah, we know the U.S. government revolutions all over the planet to accomplish their geopolitical goals. Yeah, we do. You know, it's a whole lot of stuff that the U.S. government do. You know, like telling Black Americans, you are not going to get reparations ever.
It was legal. What do you
mean? and no apology will come with it ever, because we made the laws, like the guy just said. So it was legal when we did it. You know, so
that's crazy.
Tough booby. Tough booby. And we're gonna go ahead and jump into tonight's flavor bombs. Let's get it.
Flavor bombs presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
All right, so real quick, we got U.S. public school teachers and staff face nationwide layoffs. Then we got new research suggests that cannabis is not beneficial medically. And then a very sad story: a 1-year-old dies after police shooting to a car at Walmart. Never police shooting. Baby lost their life. Let's get into this clip.
Thousands of U.S. public school employees have received warnings that they could lose their jobs as the nation's education system grapples with mounting financial pressures. Bloomberg's Erin Hudson has been following this story, and she joins us here in New York now. So, Erin, when you were reporting the story, enrollment appears to be kind of at the center of this thing. Why are there fewer students attending public schools at the moment?
Yeah, so enrollment is a huge issue. And basically, the birth rate in the US has been declining since 2007. But what really pushed this over the edge is that during the pandemic between 2020 and 2022, US public school enrollment lost 1 million students. So that was it was already something that districts were grappling with, but that loss during the early years of the pandemic really has become an ongoing challenge. And enrollment is just such a key metric for schools because that's where they get their state funding. It's based on the number of students they have.
Okay, so very well put. Of course, costs across the board are rising as well, creating these budget pressures. Is the response everywhere just layoffs, or are there other options for districts?
Yeah, the districts try to take every option before they cut staff. And when they do have to go to cutting staff, they start with the administrative positions often before they get into the classroom positions. And you do see a sort of counterintuitive situation with some districts where, as they are making cuts and reductions, they are also having to hire teaching staff. And sometimes that's because of mandates like a class size mandate that requires smaller classes, so more teachers to staff the smaller classes. And in some cases, it's based on results. So students need extra support in learning.
All right, what you think real quick? They cutting jobs. It sounds stupid, right? Because
stupid. Like, first of all, I want to say they should have had AI represent them, because she was a terrible representation from my perspective. I don't think she answered that lady questions
At all, right?
I don't think she answered the questions at all. God. Yeah. Like, yeah.
It sounds stupid. It sounds super stupid to me. And I'm like, how do you lay people off but then hire more people? Like, that don't even make sense. And then they talk about they cutting administrative positions first, but then you're gonna hire more teachers because they calling for smaller classrooms with more teachers,
more students. Like, come on, son. Like, it's all crazy.
So you having less students, so you calling for smaller classrooms with more teachers, and you have less students, and then you want to get rid of the administrative component. They want to reduce administrative staff. You know,
the first thing she said was which I know is all BS. She said, what do you think the problem is? She said, well, you know, the negative birth rate. Like, negative birth rate. And then she followed up with COVID, the pandemic, and didn't say anything that actual people are choosing to homeschool their children.
None of that, right?
Like, answer the actual question. Like, actually answer the question.
Remember, we ran the story like the billionaires are making their own schools.
Exactly, right?
You know, so you see billionaires making their own schools. You see there are some Black people that have been making their own schools too, making their charter schools and things like that. You know, so it's a lot more other factors going into why you see a reduction of parents selecting public school for their children, because there are more alternatives and options that they think will empower their babies with some better tools than what public school has been doing, you know. And it would have made too much sense for them to say that, but
just answer the question exactly.
Yeah, I figured the Cigarden Panel. I figured we had it covered. So, you know, social integration, y'all. That's what they do. That's what they do. You know, they want to send us to school to make us dumb, and then they want to ask dumb questions and then give you dumb answers, and you know,
and make us think that she actually was smart.
Right.
And that's what we need to aspire to be, right? Like, I'm saying, no. Hell no.
Hell no.
That's crazy.
New research into modern marijuana shows that with high THC comes high risks. Studies are calling into question the mental health benefits.
Yes, with high THC does come a high risk. A very high risk. You get smacked. You might get stuck. You might get froze. You may eat up all the cookies. You may eat up all the ice cream, all the snack cakes, all the hog maws, all the grapes.
Now they gonna roll you around the house.
All the peanut butter and jelly. Yes, that's what it does.
That's great.
Benefits, especially for teenagers. This comes as marijuana use among Americans 12 and older has skyrocketed by 180% since the early 2000s. With us now is Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical contributor and author of The Miracles Among Us, How God's Grace Plays a Role in Healing. Good morning, Dr. Siegel. So what are we learning from this latest research into cannabis use, and particularly as it relates to young people?
Well, first of all, you hit a lot of it already. We're talking 70 to 80 million people now are using it every year. That's 4 times what it was 20 years ago. And they're not using the same product either. Potency is way up, and it's also variable. So you could have 30 to 40% THC content, the active chemical.
Cap.
Yo, son.
Cap. 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 Now we're gonna educate them. If it's infused, yes, but naturally grown, you might get 30, and that's damn good. Okay, 31, 32. I mean, like, you had that strand can produce it. Like, it takes the genetics to be able to get that, and then when you burning it, it don't hit at 30. Okay. Because the fire, you're burning it, it's on fire. So you're reducing that. You know, if it's 30, you're probably hitting something at like 21. Okay. You probably only smoking something at like 21, maybe 22. it's gonna lose about 10 to the heat. Because fire destroys everything. It'll burn everything up. Okay. So I ain't never seen a cannabis strain naturally grown with a 40% THC. Never. Smoking medical, still never seen that. Okay. So
he looked like he lying though, God.
He don't even look like he smoked.
Like he dope. Like he don't
look like he smoked.
And he look like he looked like he would judge everybody that he was using for his clinical trial. Like he would, like if he was to do a test, like if any of this stuff was true, like it just looks so fake to me, bro. Like
we gotta hit a cap. He the stuff he's saying though, because the stuff he's saying is wild though. Like it's stupid wild.
In cannabis, and you don't necessarily know it. And the more that you use high potency cannabis, the more you need. That's the addiction piece of this. People get both psychologically and physically addicted to marijuana or to cannabis products. And you made a couple of other great points, Griff.
That's cap. Marijuana is not addictive. Okay? Not from the use of the marijuana. It is not addictive. If you have a person who has addictive personality traits, then they will get addicted to no matter what it is. Okay? But marijuana is not an addictive thing. You can quit it and you don't go through any type of withdrawals. None. Zero. You can go for 20 some years and not smoke. And get around it and see people smoking and don't even be like, yeah, let me hit that or nothing. Now, I don't know how people do with other stuff, but I'm speaking from personal experience where I used to blaze all the time before I went to the military and then had to give it up. And could go back home around family and go to functions and everything, and people who wasn't still blazing, and not and sit there and smell it secondhand and be like, "Ooh, that smell good." I would love to do that, but I don't want to mess up my check though. That don't make sense. I'm about to get some forever money where I could always go and be able to have something to smoke if that's what I choose to do. And the way he making it sound is like people can't look past the short term for the long term smoking bud. And we talking about possible adverse effects for people with PTSD, anxiety, depression, ADHD, and bipolar disorder. I'm checking some of them boxes already. So, I'm just like,
I got a few.
You know what I'm saying? I'm checking some of them boxes already, guy. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
And it wasn't even me that said so.
Yeah, I mean.
Developing brain studies are showing is way more susceptible to the impact in terms of thinking and memory judgment than when you get older. And it's the developing brain, unfortunately, in our society that we're seeing most of it. And one more point you just made about these two big studies in JAMA Internal Medicine and Lancet show that a lot of these claims that marijuana helps with anxiety, depression, PTSD, bipolar disorder are bogus. It doesn't.
Cap. That's cap. They help. 100%. They help. I wonder where's he getting this from?
Help with that most of the time or almost all of the time. And furthermore, high potency pot actually increases your risk of mental health problems, especially if you have an underlying tendency towards anxiety and psychosis. We're seeing ERs flood with this problem.
And, you know, let's look at the Americans' views on marijuana legalization. It has certainly changed over the years. Now we find that they want Americans that believe it should be legal for medical and recreational use. 54%, Dr. Siegel, and only 33% say it should be just for medical use. Only 12% say not legal. Do you think those viewpoints are taking into consideration the things you just mentioned about really how young people are and how potent this marijuana is?
No, I don't think they are. No, I don't think they are. And parents should keep their youth off of, you know, smoking some cannabis, man, or if you're gonna allow them to experiment with them. That's all. Like I say, you know, I can't tell nobody what to do, how to raise their babies. But for that case like that, I mean, it's better to be safer than sorry. If you think they're gonna do it when they ain't around you, then you should teach them how to do it correctly, so that way they don't put themselves in a situation naively, or allow themselves to be in that situation naively, where now you have to go to the hospital. So education is the best tool. And I know it's a little bit different than what it was when I was growing up, because we didn't have the Fetty Wap. We didn't have Fetty Wap out here. We didn't have infused products. You know, we didn't have all of these different concentrates and all these different things that they talking about. You just had bud. So you either had some good bud or not. But I do remember smoking some bud that was laced with something one time before. That did happen to me. Okay, and I thought that I was the knower of knowers. That happened late. That didn't even happen in like my early youth. That happened in like the later youth. But that happened. So, but I knew it immediately because I didn't feel right. So, you know, it can happen to you and you know better, and it can happen to you if you don't know better. So it's one of them things, man, where now we have legal ways to obtain it. And I'm saying legalize it. All right. Because that's the safest way to go. Because buying stuff in the street, you don't know what you're going to get. It's natural for a salesperson to try to make a sale. That's a natural thing. But if you don't know somebody who grow, or you don't grow yourself, then I would say, you know, go to the dispensaries, because they checking that better than they checking the food. You know, that goes through a more stringent process than the food that people eat and consume.
Attorneys for the family of one-year-old boy who was killed by an officer in Senatobia, Mississippi, announced they are pursuing an independent autopsy. Earlier this evening, the Office of Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump announced he and Memphis attorney Van Turner will join the family of one-year-old Cohen Wiley to make the announcement Monday morning in Senatobia, Mississippi. This is cell phone video from Walmart on Highway 51. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation says this all started when police responded to a shoplifting call. According to MBI, 2 adults and a child jumped into a car, which then began driving toward officers. Investigators say an officer fired shots into the car, killing Cohen. One of the adults was critically hurt. Cohen's mother claims his body was taken to the medical examiner's office in Jackson, Mississippi, and she was told she was not able to see until his body was returned. Attorney Van Turner spoke with ABC 24 shortly after the shooting. He's calling for the release of body camera footage at the time of the event.
We want to see the body cam footage from the officers. We also want to see the footage from Walmart, and the family is just wondering why The officer dispatched his service gun, knowing that there was a child in the car. This was a horrible tragedy. No 1-year-old child deserves to pass away from this earth like we've seen here in this case. So they're just asking for your prayers and they're asking for your support.
The death of 1-year-old Cohen Wiley sparked protests and rallies in the community all week. Demonstrators continued to protest last night after gathering for a community prayer for the family. Meanwhile, in a new post to the city's Facebook page, the mayor of Senatobia posted a message acknowledging the community's pain in the days since Cohen's death.
A child lost their life. And that heartbreaking loss has touched every corner of our community. My thoughts and prayers remain with all those involved. We're committed to transparency throughout this investigation. We remain committed to serving every member of this community with integrity, transparency, and respect. I recognize this is a deeply painful and devastating situation for our community, and I ask everyone to continue to treat one another with dignity and respect as we all navigate through this loss together. I ask for your prayers for all those affected as we move forward through this process.
Today, the Walmart Supercenter on U.S. Highway 51, where an officer fatally shot 1-year-old Cohen, temporarily closed. Although the store has been at the center of the investigation, officials at Walmart did not give details on why the store was closed.
Crazy story. Yeah, rest in peace to that 1-year-old child, man, like crazy.
Yeah, rest in power to the young guy. That's crazy.
Didn't even get to, I mean, no life lived.
I don't know, God. And I didn't see nothing in that video to say anything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know yet either. Like that wasn't. I want to see the body cam footage too.
You know, just off first take again. Like, you know, there's two things. You know, I don't think anybody should die over shoplifting. Second thing is, I don't agree with police officers using the tactic of them putting themselves in front of a moving vehicle and saying that you ran into them. Right? I think that
that's crazy.
I think they gotta have some discernment and some common sense that their human body might die if it get hit by this vehicle, right? That they standing in front of, right? And I think that if they make the choice to stand in front of vehicles to attempt to slow the person down, I don't think the person should get charged with running down police officers, right? Or that cop should then be able to say, oh, I was in fear for my life because I'm now taking the position of this person is coming at me when I stood in front of them. Like, I don't agree with that, right? So, but I didn't see any of that, you know. I'm just going based off words that I heard. I think anything that's ticketable should get a ticket. If a life is not in danger, a life shouldn't be taken. You know. And now a 1-year-old baby is gone. And the community is talking about they standing on business about their babies. Which I don't understand because I didn't see anything. So is there more videos going around? Like, is there more things being released for all those people to feel a way about something? Like,
I don't know, God. I don't know. That's all I seen on the story, that, you know, Ben Crump is now involved and they asking for all the footage. You know, they haven't released everything because they probably doing, you know, their
clean up.
Yeah, you know, they
due diligence.
Yeah, they due diligence. You know, they probably doing that now because like you said, one, shoplifting. even if they were shoplifting, is shoplifting a shootable crime?
Shoplifting.
It's not a shootable crime, you know. Then we always say though, you don't know what that action, what reaction you gonna get. It was their day.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I look at that like, but we still don't agree with that because I'm definitely with that. If you stand in front of a car, you know, like then you know your body, the human body is not gonna because if I stand in front of your car, right, like God, don't go, don't leave, and then you drive me over, you getting charged with something. You see?
You know, it's crazy. If you stand in front of my car and I say, God, get out of my way, and you don't leave, you get charged with something. Like, see how that shit go? Like we just gotta, because you kidnapping me by not letting me leave, and now I'm vehicular homiciding you by running your ass over.
You see what I'm saying? So
you know what I'm saying? Like this.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, if I'm standing in front of your vehicle and you run me over, and you didn't have to run me over, right? You could have backed up. Let's say you could have backed up. Let's say you couldn't back up though. They still gonna look at it like you didn't have to drive. You could have called the police and waited for the police to come to move the person. Okay, so I don't agree that they need to shoot. You know, like if you stand in front of a car, you know that the vehicle is a weapon that will harm the body. So you don't need to shoot. You need to get out the way.
I do agree though, if the person is intentionally driving into you, that's a shootable vehicle. But if you put yourself in the way, I think that's a different scenario, is what I'm saying.
But how do you not put yourself in the way when you're law enforcement and your job is to go get in the way? How do you know, like, so that's kind of that's going to go back to that what they have.
I don't know if that's their job to get in the way. I think if that was their job to get in the way, it wouldn't be an extra charge. I think it'll just be a part of it, right? Like I think it was added on because
I don't think it's going to be no charge. I think they investigating it now to find out what happened. But
I'm talking about the charge on a person against the police officer. Right.
Yeah, but that's attempted vehicular homicide.
Correct.
Right.
That's what it becomes. Yeah.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so if the police are so you in your vehicle, right? And the police officer is standing outside and they telling you to stop, don't move your car. Okay. And then you acting like you get ready to pull off. So they step to the front of your car to say, no, do not drive this vehicle. Stop, put your car in park, blah, blah, blah. And you hit the gas. Like, are they in the wrong for stepping in front of your car at that point?
So I think that they are in the wrong if they step in front of your car, if they didn't drop no spikes between you and them, because they are in danger. Like their body is not car proof, right? Like I think, like you got police out here that be stopping moving vehicles, like walk out to the street, tell them stop.
I see it in New York,
right? I think that shit is so crazy, right? Yeah. Because it's crazy because not that they don't have the right. I'm just talking about being human. If the person that you stopping is not paying attention at that moment.
Yeah, God.
Yes, they should be. Yes, everybody should be their hands on 10 and 2.
I want to be treated human too, but unfortunately, we live on Earth. You know.
But that human might not be paying attention, and you standing in front of their car talking about stop. And if they don't see you and they don't stop in time, I think that's your fault for getting hit. I don't think they hit you. I think you walked in front of their vehicle, but that's perspective, right?
No, that's not perspective. I think that is that's how you feel about it. That's what I think that is.
I think perspective because if they didn't have a badge, then they wouldn't have the authority to do that. And that would just automatically just be wrong and dangerous to everybody. Like,
but family, I done seen that type of scenario and people go to jail in the vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, for hitting a pedestrian.
Yeah.
You know, and like the pedestrian wasn't purposefully trying to motion to them to stop or nothing. They just happened to be crossing the street and the person just, you know. So and that person still got charged with vehicular homicide if they died or vehicular manslaughter or something like that, you know, because they saying that, you know, your vehicle's a weapon. And I'm looking at it like, you know, police officers do have this thing called qualified immunity. So because they have that whole qualified immunity thing, at that particular point, when they have you stopped and they're talking to you, they're supposed to be in charge, regardless of what we see online. You know, we are supposed to now comply.
Correct.
That's, you know, that's what is supposed to be happening. So I'm thinking we got to see the footage, you know, but I'm definitely thinking
I can only feel sad for the loss of that baby life.
That's it. Like now,
like that's the only way I can feel sad for that.
Because the baby was innocent. The baby wasn't shoplifting, and the baby wasn't trying to be a police officer. The baby wasn't trying to stop the crime, prevent a crime, or go commit a crime.
Baby wasn't driving a car.
Baby wasn't driving a car, nothing.
Baby wasn't doing nothing but being a baby.
Know?
Yeah, nah, son.
Yeah, and I'm like, shame on them grown folks for bringing their baby to go do some dumb shit. Maybe if they wouldn't have brought the baby, they ass would have got shot.
If that's what happened.
You know, where the baby got shot, regardless.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I saw a thing saying that vehicle wasn't even a part of the whole situation. Like, that was a whole separate vehicle. So
that was a stray bullet that the baby got hit in?
Not necessarily. I don't know about stray, but it could have been like one of those heat of the moment, cop excited.
We get the rest of the story, because
that's what I'm saying. Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I saw was the person saying that they wasn't even involved. That it was a different car, right? So I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
It was the same car. It was the same vehicle. It was the same vehicle. The vehicle that sped off. That's the car that the baby was in, right?
I didn't know. I'm telling you, I haven't seen any of this stuff, or definitely I haven't seen enough to have any feelings about any of this stuff or know anything.
No, but I'm saying what they just told us was they shot at that car.
Yeah, what they just said. Yeah.
They said shot at that car, and that baby was in that car.
Correct.
And they took that baby to the hospital where it died.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pull the car over. They shot at the car.
They shot at the car, yeah.
And they hit the baby, apparently they hit the baby inside the vehicle. So I'm saying if whoever was in that vehicle didn't take a baby with them, they shooting at the alleged car that was the shoplifters. So if they wouldn't have took the baby with them, then the fucking baby might not be dead. Like, god damn, that shit crazy, man. That shit wow. Like, damn, that's them parents' fault too. That ain't just them reckless ass police fault. That's them reckless ass parents' fault too for taking that baby with them on a caper. Take no babies with you, man, going to go do no dumb shit. They thinking it's gonna be smooth. And what happened? That child lost their life. So
did the moms get locked up?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. They just talking about the baby right now, and they talking about the police officer shooting. So that's facts. The police officer shot and the baby died. All of that's facts right there. You know, but we gonna follow it though. We gonna pick back up on it. We definitely gonna follow it. Y'all make sure y'all smash that like button. And
you've just been Flavor Bomb, and now back to our show.
Yeah, y'all. So we have been smoking on social integration. Make sure to smash that like button, y'all. We appreciate it. And we are at our fifth and final question. Is the phrase social integration bad, good, or misunderstood? The guy Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm.
It's definitely misunderstood. And I'm saying it's bad because they're not being totally truthful, right? Like they don't want to tell the whole story. They just want you to accept the narrative and drink the Kool-Aid and ask for more. Right. So I'm not rocking with it at all. I think that it's bad and misunderstood.
Bad and misunderstood. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna go with definitely misunderstood. And it would be good if it was real.
It's just not.
But it's not real, you know, because it's a conceptual idea, and it's looked at like a social experiment versus a actual cultural blueprint for social success and prosperity, you know, because it's not that. Like you have to have rules and structure. You know, it's like when we was talking about the pre-segregation stuff, like, yeah, people's feelings was in it and people's emotions were in it and people's desire to be a part of it, but there was order. There was rules. There was things. We have to go do this. You couldn't have a peaceful protest where dogs get sick on you and nobody punches a dog, nobody shoots a dog, nobody defends themselves against brutality from the police officers getting hit with sticks and they not fighting back or nothing. They just taking that. That's order. That's everybody agreed to that this is how we will stand firm. And if you do, and if you don't honor this, then you're not with us, because this is how we're doing this. This is how we're exemplifying, and this is how we plan on getting this objective completed. So it would be cool. It would be good if all of those things that they talked about with this concept of stable, safe, promotion and protection of all human rights, as well as non-discrimination, tolerance, respect for diversity, equality of opportunity, solidarity, security, participation for all people, including disadvantaged and vulnerable groups and persons. And it's no place like that exists on the planet. I'm unaware of it. So therefore, this shit is bad. 100% bad. And you know, we need to come up with something new. They need to come up with something new for this. This is a new thing. We you know, we only gave it a couple hours of studying, but just in them couple of hours, it's already something that we just like, you know what? I don't think we need this. You know, based on what we can compare it to, and how we see the lack of implementation of this concept currently. So y'all let us know what y'all think in the comment section below. And these were our questions tonight for our Smoke Social Integration. What do you think of when you hear social integration? Can a community or society be diverse without being socially integrated? Third, comparing pre-segregation with the present day, has social integration made things better for Black people in America? If yes or no, explain. Fourth, does social media encourage social integration or social separation? Why or why not? And last but not least, fifth and final, is the phrase social integration bad, good, or misunderstood? Please let us know what you think in the comment section below. We respond to all the comments. We want to thank everybody for pulling up tonight. Shout out to lovely ATV. What up, Bug? We seen you in the building. And also Roger Dodger, we appreciate you, Esquire. You know, hopping in the comments and chopping it up, keeping the convo active with us tonight. We appreciate that. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. We got a few more minutes before your day is over, daddies. But you're a dad, so you're on call 24/7, 365, the real ones. All right. And we appreciate y'all and love all y'all. Don't forget, y'all, we had our winner tonight. Real quick. Yeah, Minister Raywood Mickles Jr., make sure that you get into the contact information. We're going to reach out to you so you can claim your prize for subscribing to DBCHEFTV. We want to thank you for being a father and for being a subscriber to the channel. Like we always say, we are not the gurus of anything. We are trying to figure this stuff out too. So we learning with you. All right. And you can check us out each and every Sunday, 8 p.m. East Coast time, right here, Cigar Sundays Live. I'm Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, always with the God, Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Until next time, peace, God.
Peace, God.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016, 160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude. At Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. You are the key to your financial freedom, so unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.